Good.
All right. We are live. It is a Friday during the day, April 30th, I believe. Yep. So this is our first time recording during normal hours. We usually do it at like what time, Michael?
Like midnight, 1 a.m.
12:30. Yeah. Usually goes pretty late. But anyways, it was a little busier this week and it took a little bit longer to watch this season. But it wasn't because I didn't like it. It was just because I was busier. I actually enjoyed it a lot more than our first three seasons. What about you?
It was a lot better, but it's also when you set the bar kind of so low, it's kind of hard to be worse.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
much better than Thailand, One World, or Red After Island.
Yeah.
They
All
were
right.
just so horrible.
So we never actually revealed last episode what our season is. And I think some people are going to be surprised by this, but our 37th best season of Survivor was Survivor Fiji. And Michael, where did you have it? 35th?
I had it 35 and you had it 37. So
Yeah.
I had it two spots better on my list than you had yours.
So just going into this from you've looked at a lot of rankings of seasons before, I'm sure, online and stuff. So have I. I think we have this lower than most people, I would say.
I think Dalton Ross of Entertainment Weekly has this around this spot, but most have it upper 30s, like 31, 32, somewhere around there.
You know, Purple Rock podcast. Have you heard of that? I've never listened to it, but so when I first started watching Survivor again, like a couple years ago, I looked at their list because they have spoiler-free rankings. They don't give anything away. And they actually I think he had this season around like 20th. And I was like very surprised to see it that high. But I would say most people, like you said, yeah, they have it probably upper 20s to low 30s. So we definitely have it a little lower than most people. But so I did not like it at all on my 2019 rewatch when I watched it, but I remember, so this was at the time when I was still watching Survivor as a kid. I think I was in 7th grade and I liked it at the time. I remember it was I thought it was a solid season. Like it wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst, but it was entertaining to watch at the time. I remember. Do you remember watching it live? You were pretty young, but
I was 8 years old, but yes, I had already started watching Survivor live at that point.
Yeah. So what do you remember about it then? Did you like it?
Not really. I liked Yao Man, I liked Earl, and that was about it. And I see that was always the general consensus of the season.
The main thing to me about this season that I appreciated more on this rewatch doing the podcast was that this was the introduction of the modern hidden immunity idol. And I think that's pretty important in Survivor history.
Yep. And you get the first couple historic moments with the idol, which we'll get to.
So this is the first season they actually made you play the idol the way it should be played.
After the votes are cast, but before they're read.
So in Guatemala, Gary's idol was basically just an extra immunity necklace.
Yeah, he had to play it before they voted.
And then Terry's, which was never played, was a super idol.
Yeah, Terry and Yul both had super idols.
Yes.
That were good until Final Four.
Yep. And Terry, did everyone know Terry had it too? Everyone knew.
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah.
But he had won so many. He won every immunity to that point. He only had to bluff it at 5 and 4.
Yeah, he wasn't going to need it. And Yul totally had nobody voting for him because they absolutely knew he was rocking that. He pulled it out at the auction, I think. But
yeah, right after they just tried voting him out and they got Petter to flip on Nate, he's just like, oh, look, I'm not going home. And because Cook Islands was the final 3, he basically that carried him to the end.
Yeah. So, so then we get to Fiji and there's this new style of the immunity idol. There's going to be more than one idol hidden, which are both at the camps. And basically, I wouldn't say it's because Russell ended up finding idols without clues, but in this age of Survivor, I don't think anyone was finding these idols without the clues from Exile. So
I don't think anyone was bothering looking unless they didn't have the clues.
And that's another thing why I knocked this season a little bit. We could talk about it as we're about to talk about episode 1. So this season had 19 people on it because someone dropped out last minute. And all of them besides Gary did not
They were all
apply.
recruits,
So,
except Gary.
all recruits. And you could see a lot of these people didn't have a good grasp of the game, but I'll argue there was more people that had their head in the game in this season than there were in Thailand, One World, and Redemption Island, I think.
Yeah, you can definitely say that people had their heads in the game. The only problem was they're awful at the game.
Yeah. The Four Horsemen.
Oh, God.
It's a pretty famous alliance for just how bad their downfall was. And I mean, the Survivor thing doesn't always have like the named alliances like Big Brother too. So it's like,
it's pretty funny how that one got named and it was just such
that's one of the
fire.
ones that everybody remembers all the time.
Well, you always remember the good ones. You remember the awful ones, and the Four Horsemen were definitely an awful alliance.
Yeah. All right. So getting into it, episode 1, very beginning, Jeff is really hyping up. Exile Island is back. I guess they loved that twist at the time. I love Exile Island.
I love Exile Island.
It's awesome, I think. Would you like them to bring it back in Modern Survivor? Do you think they ever will?
If they had I don't think so. I think San Juan del Sur is the last time we'll see it. But the thing is, like, I love Exile Island. That should have been like a permanent thing for the rest of Survivor.
Yeah, so now when they do it, it'll probably always be like a ghost, something gimmicky like Ghost Island.
Ghost Island.
Of the Idols.
That was like, we'll get into this when we get to Ghost Island eventually. Like, I like that twist. The only issue was I didn't like everyone being handed advantages.
Yeah.
But, like, I love that you could just be separated from your tribe and you had to scramble and find your way.
Yeah, but like in this day and age, like this Fiji Exile Island, they were suffering. Like there was poisonous snakes on the island and they didn't have anything. But like the funny thing is with the haves and the haves not twist, the people from Ravu that ended up going to Exile
were better off on Exile.
They claim they had it better at Exile than they did at their camp. And
because Exile they were able to get fire. There was no fire on Ravu till like day 7, I think.
Yeah, that was just.
Also, that twist was awful.
So yeah, get into that more because I'll give you my thoughts on it after.
So the haves not twist. Basically, they put all 19 people on the Moto Beach before they divided tribes for the first, I think, 3 days, and then the day of the first immunity challenge, they had the one designated like, what's the word? Like leader of the building the shelter, which they said was Sylvia.
It was Sylvia.
She completely divides the tribes. And then she goes to Exile, and then she's going to join the losing tribe. And then the tribes battle for immunity, but the reward is whoever tribe wins gets the full camp. The losers have to go to a new beach.
She picked like literally every pick for the tribes, right? Like she divided them completely on her own. Herself. Yeah, I thought that was pretty crazy. And it's just like, so this is a classic example of we see Sylvia ends up being an early boot. Like you don't want to be the leader, like right off the bat. Like it's just stupid. Like I think at least. You think it was a dumb?
You don't want to get pinned as the leader, especially in a Survivor.
You could see in the first 3 days that she was being pretty bossy around camp, and even though they claimed her the leader, I wouldn't say they necessarily liked her. Like
no.
People were very annoyed by Sylvia earlier, and I think she was an architect, so I think that's part of the reason she was kind of trying to.
That's why she kind of nominated herself to do it.
Yeah, and so the tribes get divided, and instantly, I wouldn't say on paper that Ravu was like super at a disadvantage. Like physically, they definitely looked a little bit worse, but I didn't see them being like a disaster tribe, and I almost forgot how bad they really were.
I think that's totally because of the twist.
You think so?
I think if both tribes had the same amount of like resources and they both had the giant fucking moto camp or nothing like Ravu did, I think Ravu would have had a better chance.
It would have been more even.
It would have been balanced, not Ravu losing everything.
Yeah, that twist.
That's why I hate the twist so much.
It really stresses how much of an advantage the one tribe will have if they have more comfort, eat better, like all that stuff is so important. And it's easy to sit there on the couch and say, oh, like this tribe is dominating. What's the other tribe doing? But like
They
we
had no
saw
fire.
it.
The only way they were getting water is sucking the raindrops out of the leaves
Difficult.
on Ravu.
Yeah, for sure. So, what's the other tribe's name?
Moto.
Mono?
Moto.
Yeah. Malolo, Mono. There's so many.
You get them all confused.
Yeah. And let's talk about it briefly. So this was the first season on Fiji, but this isn't the same island that they're on nowadays.
Yeah, no, this was a different island than the one they currently use.
Yeah. But like at the time, I guess the location was nothing like special. It was just another island. Like where'd they go in Cook Islands is like Panama, right?
No, that was the Cook Islands was just the Cook Islands.
Okay, and then Panama, Guatemala, Palau. Yeah, so they went somewhere different pretty much every year in this age.
The last time they did back-to-back locations with Pearl Islands and All Stars, they were both in Panama, and then they went back to Panama for Panama.
Yeah, and then they went to Samoa for what 19 and 20, and then 21 I think
was Nicaragua.
22 was Nicaragua, I think.
Yeah, once it hit Samoa and Heroes vs. Villains, they started doubling up the locations.
Yeah, they started hitting Samoa and Nicaragua a lot after this. And I mean, I know this is Fiji, and then they eventually, obviously, we're going to hit Fiji a lot, but this does have a different feel to it. It doesn't, maybe it's the fact that it was 2007 and we don't see the high def clear waters that we do now, but I don't think these beaches were as nice as the ones that they're staying on now.
I think once they hit these beaches that they're staying on now, I think that's why they haven't moved.
Because it's so nice.
But I just want to, before they got to Samoa, the only time they ever reused locations was Panama. They used 3 times. In Pearl Islands, All Stars in Panama, and then Palau they used twice.
Okay, but Panama was the same location.
The same beach, all 3 times.
As All Stars and Pearl Islands, I thought so. Okay. All right, so getting more into this episode. Actually, really quick before I do say that, have you seen any updates on the weather in Fiji right now? Like currently?
Is it supposed to be like raining like every day?
Oh yeah. So they're filming season 41 right now, and we're gonna be seeing a lot of rain on that season because I saw like weeks straight of rain at least.
Yeah, I saw someone tweeted about the weather in Fiji.
Yeah. All right. Well, all right. Let's get to the tribes. So on the Ravu tribe, we have Earl, Yao Man, Mookie, Michelle, Rocky, Anthony, Rita, Erica, and Jessica. And Sylvia is exiled. And then on the Mono tribe, we have Dreams, Cassandra, Boo, Stacy, Alex, Edgardo, Lisi, Liliana, and Gary. So yeah, like we said, it doesn't appear that one tribe would be that much better than the other. The twist you said clearly had something to do with it.
Yeah, I think if they're on even like playing grounds from their like camp standpoints, I think it's much more even.
All right, so they get right into the immunity challenge because they've already been there for 3 days before they get tribes, which is interesting. I guess this and Palau, I guess, were the only times where Jeff wasn't really there for the marooning. Kind of just let them go. And we saw sort of Palau-ish twist, but not to that extent with 2 people just being screwed out of the game. But
I hate that. When we get to Palau, I'll talk about how much I hate that.
So yeah, Ravu loses this challenge, and this is where their life as the have-nots begins. And I don't think instantly I realized how much of a role this was going to play, but we talked about how bad it was. So yeah, Moto's got the great camp. They have a horrible camp. And then this first tribal, it's weird. It's like what is it? 4 people get votes, but like 3 of them only get 1 vote, I want to say.
Yeah. It was Jessica getting 6 votes, and then Mookie, Yao Man, and Rita each get one.
So I think Rocky voted for Mookie.
Erica voted for Yao Man.
Erica
Jessica voted for Rita.
For Yao, and Jessica voted for Rita.
And then everyone else voted Jessica.
So I was listening to Rob has a podcast recently about this season where they talked about it. And after watching it, I kind of was like, why did they vote Jessica out first? And Rob said the same thing. Like he said, she's basically a lot of the time the first boot gets themselves voted out, but he said he doesn't think Jessica did anything to get herself voted out really besides just not get in with Earl and Yao Man, and instead was tighter with Rocky. And yeah, I'm really not sure why they voted her out.
I'm not sure either. Like usually the first boot, like you said, they do something to make themselves easy first target. I don't feel like she actually did anything to make that happen.
No. And I think this, like, we see this season's a pretty male dominant season. Like the woman
first dude wasn't voted out until day 16.
Yeah, because Gary
was medevaced.
Yeah. But there was it was just pretty clear early that the women were being targeted at all these early tribals. And I mean, I think in a newer season, you might have saw someone like Rocky go home sooner than he actually did.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he was around too long for my liking, for sure. God, he annoyed me so much by like the third episode. I was like, I hate this guy.
By the second episode, I was done with him.
He's, God, and so like, I'm not saying if you have a Boston accent or a New York accent, it's cool, but his voice just annoys me, like really, really bad. It's like
it honestly felt like he was putting it on.
Oh yeah, he definitely he was trying to play it up. You're saying?
Yeah, at least to me, that's what. Now he might not have, and that might just be how he speaks. But it felt to me that he was kind of forcing it to kind of sound.
Yeah,
kind of sound like that.
Yeah, this guy was casted to be the knockoff Boston Rob, and
he didn't deliver. Can't hold Boston Rob's jockstrap.
Did not deliver in the slightest. All right, so yeah, I thought it was an okay premiere episode. I mean, nothing too good about the first couple episodes, I don't think, but it does pick up. So, all right, we'll get to the second episode where, yeah, they're putting a major emphasis that I remember on that one of these, like the haves versus have-not twist early on gets a huge,
so prominent.
Yeah, they really emphasize it, and that's a lot of the reason why I don't like the twist at all. I don't hate it as much as you do, I don't think, but I don't like it.
I think it completely ruined the first half of this game. I think it just made it so predictable that Rob was losing every challenge.
And do you think production saw that afterwards and said, we're never doing this again?
They had to have. Other they did? I can't even remember how many exact challenges Rob won one. And it was a reward challenge where it was just, hey, here, throw this ball.
And the only reason they even ended up going to tribal is because
Moto wanted to keep the camp.
Moto wanted to keep their camp.
They had, okay, you can vote someone out and keep your camp, or you can keep your immunity, but you got to switch camps with Rob. And they're like, nope, we'll keep the camp.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, we see that they're really suffering. And I don't know, Boo has this weird, like, scooping in Philippines thing going on where he keeps hurting himself. I don't know. It didn't end up playing a role, but I do remember that happening. Boo's always like bleeding.
Boo's always getting hurt.
Yeah. All the time. So Sylvia returns from exile and
realizes Rabu has no fire.
Yeah, and I think she quickly realizes she is on the outs too. Mm-hmm. And that's always the danger of being the person to go to exile and having to join a tribe afterwards. It's tough. And that's
another reason why this is bad, because she right from the get-go, she had to go to exile. You don't even get the time to be with your tribe when they first got formed.
Yeah, and there's
It's not
there's
like
no
a swap tribe where you could have like pre-existing relationships from people on your old tribe. Like, oh, hey, we know this person that's coming back in. It's literally nothing.
yeah, and it's also if someone did want her in their alliance, she immediately probably knows she's going to be at the bottom of that alliance. Like it's pretty clear.
Mhm.
And they are also just very much annoyed by Sylvia. She's pretty bossy around the camp.
Yeah.
And you're getting the vibes from the edit that she's going to be an early boot. I think they made that pretty clear.
Yeah, no, they did.
Yeah, she gets that early boot edit. Like there's definitely a lot of screen time with her early, but it's none of it's like positive things. So usually that means you're going early. So Moto won again, and they choose Earl to go to Exile. And this is interesting because he didn't go to Tribal with them. I think he was safe.
He got a pass from Tribal.
So what do you think of that like twist? You think that's interesting?
Yeah, because they usually do it like once a season when someone gets exiled. Like if they'll get exiled at the reward / immunity challenge and then not come back until after Tribal, which I kind of like it, but at the same time, it's like it doesn't really bother me.
Yeah, I think it's interesting like that they mixed it up in this season. Like some of the time they were returned before the challenge and before Tribal, and sometimes what happened with Earl is what happened. And I just kind of like how they mix it up and don't make it super like obvious what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But I do like with Exile, we see it in this season. They're always sending the same people there. It's never like a mix up. It's always like you're going. Sorry, like is what it is. And usually the person who goes a couple times, they know that they're going to get sent again. They usually are like, there's nothing I can do about it. It is what it is. And that's kind of how it was with Earl this season.
Yeah, it was like Earl and Yao Man mostly were the ones getting sent.
All right. So at this Tribal, Earl is not there. And it seems like Sylvia is probably going to go home, but Erica had a really bad performance in the challenge. And
because she was like so certain she was right. She was yelling at everyone in the tribe saying, "This is how you do it. This is how the pole gets formed." And then she was dead wrong, which allowed Moto to win the challenge.
Yeah, and she was panicking. Like you could tell she was nervous, and she was trying to take leadership, and it went poorly. And
so Rocky was really pissed about it. So he's like, all right, well, she's going to go home, bro.
Yeah. And Rocky, even though he didn't even vote correctly the first vote, or I think he voted correctly this vote, and that was it. Besides when he got swapped. I think pre-swap, this was the only time he voted correctly. No, he didn't vote correctly. He voted for Sylvia.
No, he didn't. He voted for Erica.
Oh, he did? No, you're right. He did. And he voted for Anthony the next time. I was looking at him. Yeah. Okay, so Rocky has this false sense of confidence that he's in control of his tribe too. Like basically, I think you see it when I know they're swapped, but when Anthony finally does go home, like Rocky says something about how he was calling the shots on the previous tribe, and I'm just like, dude, what? Like, what are you talking about?
He thought it was him and his right hand man Moki.
Yeah. God, they're idiots. All right, so Erica goes home, and like we said, early on in the game, you can't be the reason your tribe lost a challenge or you're in trouble.
Yeah. And this is still kind of like older school Survivor, where it's like challenges and like camp life is a lot more prominent in your part of your game than it is now.
Yeah, and especially when I guess there's not going to be as many swaps necessarily, especially if you're on a losing streak. Like we got to keep the tribe strong, so that factors into it as well.
Yeah, if it wasn't for like the medevac and that the Moto like wanted to keep their camp twist, they could have gotten oolonged.
Oh, absolutely.
That's how bad it was.
It was, and like I said earlier, I didn't remember it being that bad. Like we talk about all the bad tribes on Survivor, and this one doesn't get mentioned as much. Like everyone talks about Matt Singh, everyone talks about Oolong, everyone talks about Luzon, but this one's not mentioned as much. Maybe because it's a more forgettable season, but I do think that's interesting though. Like how I forgot how bad Ravu was as a tribe.
Yeah, they were bad.
All right. So moving on, we are episode 3. They finally, I think, started a fire at Ravu.
Yeah, because they used glasses to get the
Yao Man
fire going.
Glasses. Yeah. So, yeah, they still keep losing though. I think they lost another reward challenge where I think Moto got even more luxury at this point. Like they had all
they got to choose their reward, and then like the Ravu wanted the fishing gear, and Moto wanted like coffee or like toiletries or whatever it was, and whoever won the challenge got both things, and Moto won. So Moto had like 3 things of fishing gear at that point.
Yeah, and it's
like, absolutely ridiculous how much they had. And then Ravu had absolutely nothing.
It's why you hate this twist so much, because it's just they were at such a disadvantage.
And it just kept getting worse because every challenge was like, oh, let's just give Moto more stuff. Let's give him a bed. Let's give him some couches.
Yeah. So this is where I think Sylvia goes back to Exile. Mm-hmm. And all right, so let's talk about the idol clues too. So Sylvia got the first one basically just said it was, did it say it was back at camp?
It said it was at camp, yeah.
And then the second one that Earl got said
it was in a cave.
Yeah, in a cave. And then what did the third one that Sylvia got say?
It was near you sleep.
Okay. So yeah, we know it was underneath the shelter. You just had to dig a little bit.
You had to move the stuff and make sure no one was there when you were looking for it.
Yeah. So yeah, they had to basically, you had to get up early or do it in the middle of the night.
Or you weren't getting anything.
Sleeping and not be super loud about it, which digging can be loud. So I don't see, even if Sylvia was the only one that went there, I don't think she was smart enough to pull off that idol like Yao Man and Earl ended up doing. I just don't think she would have been able to find it with all the fucking clues in the world. I really don't. All right, but she gets the clue, and then back over at Moto, Gary's really hurting, and
yeah, he's in bad shape.
I think they showed it even the episode before, I want to say. Like, it wasn't just this episode. I think episode 2, you saw he was in bad shape as well.
A little bit, not as much as this episode, because it's not until the next episode where he gets pulled.
Yeah. Okay. So it was like a 3 episode like arc where I think they were like just trying to lead up to the fact that this guy was going to get medevaced. And we don't see much from him either. I don't think he had many confessionals.
I don't remember him having any, to be honest.
No, he definitely had a few, but there wasn't many, and it's pretty weird. I just remember them calling him Papa Smurf, and he was the only one there that was a fan of the show. I do know that. Apparently, he was a pretty big Survivor fan.
Yeah, that's what they were mostly talking about.
So how would you feel? I just saw. All right. So how do you feel like if you were in Gary's position, you're in a game where all these recruits are here and you're the only Survivor fan playing?
I'd be pissed. But also, I don't know if this is how Gary was thinking, but it's like, if I'm a player, like I know how this game works and all these people don't, I would totally try to use that to my advantage. Hey, I know how this game works. Stick with me.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I would see it.
But that's not how Gary. I don't think that's how Gary saw it.
No, and he was the oldest guy here. I'm pretty sure too.
Yeah, he was
by a good bit. This was a younger cast in general, I would say too.
I think like him and Yao were the only 2 like older people.
Yeah, and maybe Sylvia wasn't.
Sylvia a little bit.
Yeah, the rest of them, most of them seem like they were in their 20s. I don't know how old was Earl at this time. Let's see. I'll look it up.
Earl was 35.
35. Okay. And he was probably older than most of these people. Yeah, we had Jessica was 27, Erica 27.
Yao Man was only a year younger than Gary.
Yeah. Sylvia, Gary, and Yao Man were all in their 50s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most of these people were in their mid 20s, early 30s. Yeah, pretty much younger cast, I would say. So Gary, it was hard for Gary to fit in, I think, even if he didn't end up getting medically evacuated. I for sure think that it was hard for him.
But I think he would have gotten farther. He would not have been the first boot on that tribe, I don't think, if he didn't get sick.
Yeah. Who do you think would have been?
I think Liliana still goes first.
Okay. Who we see her go, so eventually, early. All right. So now they're going to another immunity challenge, and I think this was the gross food eating challenge.
Yeah.
So I do remember I think that Ravu got a few points and was a little bit ahead, and Rocky starts talking smack to Boo from the bench, and like Boo starts getting all, oh, like, be humble or something, and Rocky says something about like, oh, when you've been losing all this time, like there's no way you would be humble either. So like they start going back and forth, and it's ironic Rocky got cocky because they still lost anyways.
Yeah, because Anthony against Gary, and Anthony couldn't get the pig snout down.
Yeah. God, that guy was a wimp. I think he was very wimpy. I kind of felt bad for him because they did bully him a little bit and stuff, but I wouldn't say he didn't want to be there, but he didn't have the attitude you need for Survivor.
It seemed like he wasn't going fully all in with anything.
No. And whenever he was questioned about it, he kept saying he was really.
Yeah, I still think the way Rocky treated him was bad.
Yeah. All right. So Sylvia, I have in my notes here, she starts looking for the idol with the clues that she has because she knows she's on the chopping block. And she doesn't find it, but the votes are close here.
Because they split the vote in case Sylvia did have the idol.
Yeah.
They split between Sylvia and Anthony.
Yeah, and the other weird thing is, I guess Rita has this.
Rita was told to vote for Anthony, and she didn't want to vote for Anthony instead, so she just threw her vote on Earl.
Yeah, she voted for Earl, which I believed is that. So Earl did not actually play a perfect game because he got
because of that vote. He would have had a perfect game if she didn't vote for him.
Oh, brutal. And it's such a meaningless vote too. It's like
she couldn't throw on anyone. She just chose him.
Yeah. Yeah, she just wanted to do her own thing, she said in that spot, which was kind of weird, I thought.
Yeah, and it set herself up.
Yeah. It set herself up to be an early boot, and it's like your tribe is not winning anything. Like, please, like, just go with what people are telling you to do if you want to make it another day. Like, it was stupid by her, I think.
Yeah.
Very underrated, dumb move.
Really dumb.
All right.
Go.
All right, so we have Gary in episode 4. You're seeing early on how he's continuing to suffer. I think he's got like bites all over the place, and like he's got some sort of allergic reaction to it.
Yeah, he was in rough shape, really bad.
Yeah, he had it. I mean, can you just imagine if he was on the Ravu tribe?
Oh,
and
God.
He might have not made it to day 7 if that happened.
Yeah, now that would have been a lot worse if he was there instead of at the luxury camp of Moto.
Yeah. All right. So, this challenge. Okay. They have the reward challenge, which is the I call it the One World Challenge because that's the one I remember it from the most, where Cat kept screwing up the you know what I'm talking about, right? The water one where you have to
when
like
you're trying to get around all the people.
Yeah, so I like this challenge a lot. I always think it's funny. Like it's pretty comical every time. And you see Moto continuing their dominance. Like they
Well, Ravu started out much better on this challenge.
Yeah.
And then Moto eventually took over.
Yeah. They found their strategy, and that's really what it's about. You gotta have the bigger boys to be the last ones to go. But like if the small girl is screwing it up, there's really nothing you could do about it.
Yeah.
So, all right. So they won again. And this time Yao Man goes to Exile, which was kind of surprising, actually. I thought they were going to just send Earl again, but
they sent someone different.
I don't know what their reasoning for sending him was, but I don't know. Back at camp, I've noted that I think Rocky's starting to throw some temper tantrums at this point, like about losing.
Yeah, no, he was done with all the losing, but
not in as funny of a way as Rodney complaining about doing dishes on his birthday. It's funny Rodney came around later, but like Rocky's such a knockoff Rodney, it's not even funny. Like,
yeah, except Rodney was better at the game and
exactly.
Funnier.
Yeah, he's like the Walmart brand Rodney, basically. How I would describe him. And I don't know
dollar store versions of Boston Rob.
Yeah, for real. All right, so then we have Gary, who is, I guess it's a quit.
They call it a quit, but it was one of those quits like Dana from Philippines, where it's kind of, you know how like Jeff like is like totally hates quitters, and I think in this scenario he was like, okay, he didn't. At the time, I think they called it a medevac.
Yeah, it says on the voting chart on Wikipedia
that he quit.
Yeah,
but I swore at the time that when Jeff told Ravu what happened, that he said Gary was pulled from the game.
I thought so too. I was surprised they actually called this a quit. I mean, I guess I think like what happened with Colton is more of a quit than what happened with Gary. Because the word on the street is that Jeff even called Colton out for it on Blood versus Water when he actually did quit. He said, we brought a quitter back, and he did the same thing again. Like,
yeah, it was fun. I just read this on Fanshare earlier today. I was on the page and someone was talking about how Colton on Blood versus Water, Jeff called him a 2-time quitter. Instead of trying to figure out what happened on One World.
I think he faked it. I think that's what the word is. Or he
blew it out of I just don't get why, though. Like he was running that tribe.
Yeah.
Unless
yeah, it just shows you mentally. All right. Well, we're not going to get into Colton too much. We already talked about that guy enough.
That horrible season.
Yeah. All right. So the next challenge.
This was everyone was in the cages.
It's the cages, yeah. And then I think at the end, don't they have to
they had to get into a pyramid with the players to try to unlock their last player from the cage.
Yeah, and they have to I guess get the smallest person on the top to unlock it. And this one was close. They almost finally won.
Well, whoever it was on Ravu, someone was really screwing up bad. I'm totally blanking on who it was.
Michelle?
It was I thought it was Rita.
Was it Rita?
Someone was having trouble getting over the lily pads. I remember trying to get to.
It was Rita. Michelle was just the one who had to unlock at the end, I think.
Yeah, but no, Rita took forever getting over the pads. Moto was getting a multiple person lead.
Michelle almost pulled it off because I think Stacy was pretty slow with the locks, but she ended up getting it done. So yeah, they lose again, and
Moto wins the challenge, but then they get the message in the bottle.
Message in the bottle. So despite what happens here, we'll just get into the message in the bottle first. Do you regardless of what's in the bottle, do you like the whole message in the bottle twist?
I kind of like it because it's you don't know what's going to happen.
I like it a lot, actually. it's kind of Big Brother-ish, but it's
But the twists aren't as dumb as they usually are on Big Brother.
Exactly, yeah. So I like it, and I like the twist here because I don't know.
Especially because it's Moto.
Yeah, on a haves versus have not season, I think that on a not haves versus have not season, I think that anybody would have they would have kept
the immunity
and switched camps. Yeah, that's what I think.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if I would have loved to have seen what Bravo would have done if they won this challenge.
Yeah,
my bet is they take the camp and vote someone out.
I think so too, especially since you had Rita, who just threw that stray vote the last tribal. It was an easy person to pick off. I think they would have switched, but do you think Moto made the right decision?
Yeah, I think Moto made the right decision.
Yeah, I mean, going back to what we talked about in One World, like it's hard to ever like just voluntarily go to tribal, but with the way this was set up with the camps,
I was just gonna say though, like this is not One World-esque. Moto had a legit reason to give him immunity and go to tribal, but the men on One World just did it just for fun.
Yeah, and it's
like we want to keep this luxurious camp we have. We'd rather vote someone out.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for them that Gary was medevac because now they're almost even.
No, after this tribal, it would be even.
No, you're right, because one tribe, an odd number of people throws me off too.
Yeah, so yeah, 14 people left, and because they gave the immunity, it was gonna be 7-7.
Yeah. So do you think they ever considered like? I don't think they had to think about it too much though. I think that they were. They were pretty clear. They knew where they were living. They knew where Ravu was living.
Yeah, they wanted no part of that Ravu camp.
Yeah, so this tribal ends up being interesting because I don't think the edit makes it clear who is going home, really. They kind of show Liliana's name being thrown out, but they really don't like it. The writing's not totally on the wall for her, but she's done some sketchy things. Like I think she's like sleeping with all the guys at the camp and stuff. And some people see that as dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so who votes together here?
I think it's everyone. It's a 7. It's not 7. It's a 6-1-1 vote.
6-1-1. So who is that one other? Who are the two other votes for? It was
Cassandra voted for Lisi, and Liliana voted for Cassandra.
Yeah. Do you know why Cassandra voted for Lisi? Do you remember?
I honestly no. I think she just did it because she wanted to.
Yeah, and we talked about Rocky a little, but I hate Lisi too. I very much despise her. Like that whole cringe thing about when she went to Exile, like she basically said, "Oh, like, am I done now?" Like
at the swap, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
We'll get to that.
We're almost done.
All right. So Liliana goes home, and I guess they just saw her as deceptive, but she was blindsided. She totally did not see it coming.
Yeah, she had no idea.
She thought that they were going to vote out Cassandra, who was probably the weakest link in the tribe. But they already had some strong people. Like they had Edgardo, they had Boo, they had Dreams, they had Alex. Those were some guys who are very good at challenges, and Liliana was probably their strongest woman, I would say.
Yeah, she was.
She like pretty fit, and I totally think this was a blindside to her. She did not see it coming at all.
Well, you can tell when she was voted out, like she got.
She was very much surprised. All right, so yeah, I think that was our strongest episode so far, the fourth one, because we saw that it's not just going to be one tribe that's going to go into a swap or a merge with complete numbers. Like, yeah, it was unfortunate that Gary got medically evacuated, and then this twist comes to be where they have to go to tribal to keep their camp. But it was cool because I hate the seasons like where it's just so obvious. Besides Palau's cool, but I hate the seasons where one tribe has like a slight numbers advantage at the merge and there's just nothing like they could do about it afterwards. And I'm glad that didn't happen this season.
Yeah.
And I'm glad people were actually willing to work with other people that weren't on their original tribes, which is makes it way better than Redemption Island for that factor alone. You have one person in that game that was willing to flip at any point. All right. So next episode, Earl and Yao Man keep talking about the clues and the idol. And I think they play this off really smartly, like, because at the time we had never seen an idol hidden like this before, but they knew exactly what they were doing. Like Earl basically said, I'll go off with everyone else, Yao Man, and you can look for the idol while I go off. And we see that used a lot in later seasons, like
what Rob did on Redemption Island.
Exactly. Or even what Tony had done, like where he tells people to go look in places.
Yeah, what he did in Wonders at War.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think the edit, I know they haven't found it yet, but the edit's making it pretty clear that
they're going to find it.
Going to be found by either Earl or Yao Man, and that they'll use it for one another if they have to. Like they aren't just going to save it for themselves. Where I know there was a different sort of idol, but like we said with the Guatemala, Exile Island, and Cook Islands idols, no one was like sharing those idols. Like they were for that person and that person only. And with this new concept of idols where you play it after the votes, but before the votes are read, there's a lot more sharing going on with idols.
Well, you'll see it when the other idol's found.
Oh, yeah. That's interesting. All right. So,
this reward challenge was great.
I love the rewards. I love the challenges in this season, actually. Like, this is basically like, I guess, so I would say from, what was it? I would say between 10 and 20 for Survivor, seasons 10 and 20. It's kind of like the prime age of Survivor. And they used a lot of the same challenges, but I like a lot of them. Like the Sumo at the Sea, which is this one. I really like that challenge.
And Rocky and Dreams opening their mouth and made it even better.
Oh, God.
Rocky. I hate Rocky.
He's insufferable. Like we talked about it last episode with Rob Z, who's a jackass, but at least he was sort of like entertaining TV. Rocky, you're just like, God, I hate this guy.
Yeah.
There's nothing likable about him.
Yeah, we got a Rob Z reference in this episode.
Yeah. He doesn't have any redeeming qualities, I don't think, as a Survivor player. All right, so
on top of the fact that he's awful at the game.
Yeah. So they get crushed again, Ravu.
The only point they got was when Yao Man had to go up against Stacy in that challenge. Yeah. But every other one that was a gender matchup, Moto just killed him.
I think Boo finessed Earl in this one. Was it? Yeah. Yeah, Boo, we haven't talked about him that much yet. He's not great socially at all or very much strategically, but like I think he is one of the all-time challenge beasts in Survivor, basically, just because he's literally immune until the final 9, besides that one tribal where they gave it up.
I think there was a total of 3 tribals that he went to that he was not immune at.
Yeah. Did you know he was Russell's friend too? Did you ever know that?
No idea.
Yo, so until I just said that now?
Not until you just said it, yeah.
Okay, so I didn't realize it. I knew it on this rewatch because last year I watched Russell's like top 100 thing, and I was shocked. I think Boo made the list. He was like 95 or 96 or something, which is dumb. He shouldn't be. He's not a top 100 Survivor player. I think part of the reason he made it is because Russell probably put him like number like 60 on his list or something like that, just because they're friends. But yeah, apparently apparently they're friends, and I think Boo actually helped Russell get his name out there to get him on Survivor.
Well, that's the best thing he's ever done for Survivor then.
Yeah, imagine if Boo had Russell Hance's strategic mindset.
God.
He'd be an all-timer.
Yeah, he would.
But he doesn't. So, all right. Anyways, we'll get back to it. They lose again. And this is when I don't know. I think
they sent Earl back to Exile.
They sent Earl back to Exile, but I had a lot of written down about what was going on at the Moto camp, and some of the girls are annoyed that they think Alex and Edgardo just think they're in such control of the game. Like they're very much annoyed by this.
I remember, but Lacey and Stacy were kind of out making themselves outsiders.
Yeah, they definitely did. Especially like we see it later with the touchy subjects, but Stacy was such a goat in this game. She was not respected as a player at all.
No, she wasn't.
All right. So yeah, they're going on a little bit of a power trip, Alex and Edgardo. And then I don't know, Lacey and Stacy also think, I wrote down that they're treating Dreams, Alex and Edgardo are treating Dreams and Cassandra unfairly. They I guess they're in an alliance with them, but Stacy and Lacey, I guess, want them to see that these two guys think they're better than everybody.
Mm-hmm. Because they don't like Cassandra and Dreams.
No.
But I think Alex and Edgardo are a little smarter and be like, if just Stacy and Lacey keep treating them like this, they will flip.
Yeah.
Especially when at this point where it was even numbers, they're like, we need to keep Cassandra and Dreams with us because if they flip, we're screwed.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think, look, this is the first we really talked about Alex and Edgardo, but I think those two guys, they're not great players, but they've got their heads in the game.
Their thinking was dead on here, though.
Yeah, for sure. And like we see the downfall from them, but they both came to play.
Yeah,
that's for certain.
And that's why I give this season a lot more credit than I give the others, because even if the people weren't that good, they wanted to win. Like, people were trying to play. The only issue was they didn't have the level of gameplay that a lot of good Survivor players have.
They were willing to make moves.
But I respect the fact that they would go play the game, unlike these other people from One World Redemption Island in Thailand who just sit around and do nothing.
Yeah. All right. So here, the immunity challenge, they have the matching in the field challenge. I actually really like these two.
Oh, yeah, the immunity challenge.
The matching.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely cool. I mean, it's tough. I mean, it's not a physical challenge. It's all mental. You've got to be able to remember where shit is. And
that stuff's hard, even when you're not on the island.
Yeah, but when you're starving.
Yeah, because when I played Super Duper, my Final 5 challenge was a memory challenge. And Tony would flip things over and I would still lose where everything was.
Yeah.
I'm I don't know how these people do it when they're out there for almost 15 days.
Yeah.
And trying to remember where all this shit is.
So Moto wins again. I think this was close also. I think Rocky
had the chance to win it and blew it.
So they win again and they're still undefeated. And I think at this point, the edit makes it pretty clear that Rita's probably going home.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there was anything too interesting with this vote out.
It was always oh, what about Anthony? But no, it was Rita the whole time.
Yeah. So yeah, Anthony's name came up a lot, but what was more important was that I think so Anthony doesn't end up getting swapped with them, but I think Yao and Earl know that Anthony will be loyal come a swap.
Mm-hmm.
And that Rita might not.
That's why I feel like Earl was definitely trying to look out for Anthony.
Yeah, he was for sure. And they didn't end up together, but it was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Now we're at the swap.
Now we get to the swap. Finally, 6 episodes in. Do you think this is too late for a swap? Do you prefer an earlier swap than this?
I didn't see any issue with the timing, but I also think they wanted it 14 people, but Gary getting medevac kind of threw off their timing.
Yeah, so they had to add the Exile factor in.
Yeah, I think in a perfect world they swap it 14 and then it's 7-7.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so with this swap, who was it? It was Earl and Edgardo who picked the tribes.
Was it Edgardo? I think it was Edgardo. Yeah.
Yeah. So they have to pick someone from the other tribe, correct?
Yes.
All right, so Earl ends up with on his tribe with
Boo.
Boo. It was his
Yao
first.
Man.
Yeah, so it was
because each pick afterwards picked the next person. So Earl picked Boo. Boo, I think, picked Yao Man.
Yeah.
Yao Man, I think, picked Cassandra. Or Stacy, one or the other.
Stacy.
Stacy picked Michelle, and then Michelle picked Cassandra.
Yeah.
And then on the other tribe, Edgardo picked Mookie. Mookie picked Alex. Alex picked Rocky. Rocky picked Dreams, and then Dreams was left with Anthony.
Yeah. So that was the all male tribe, and that's when the Four Horsemen were formed.
Mm-hmm. It was so everyone minus Rocky and Anthony.
Yeah, but also I found it interesting because I think Mookie's a better player than he gets credit for too. Because Mookie was kind of playing both sides here. He still was kind of in with Rocky, but he did make. He
realized Rocky was a sinking ship, and then when these three guys offered him an alliance, he's like, "All right, I got to take it."
Yeah, of course, and it was the smart thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, now this is going to be the tribe that ends up going to tribal twice in a row. So basically we said whatever tribe a Boo is on wins every challenge in this game.
Yeah.
Pretty ridiculous. All right. So yeah, Edgardo loses in the rock. I think it was rock, paper, scissors, right? That they shout out super fans. But yeah, they do rock, paper, scissors, and
well, you throw your hand in the bag for a Ravu or Moto buff.
Yeah. So
and Edgardo pulled out the Ravu buff.
Edgardo pulled out the Ravu buff, and they're back living at that shithole, basically. All right, so I'm trying to think what was going. So we already talked about what was going on with the Ravu camp, like the Four Horsemen were formed,
and then Lisi getting exiled,
and Lisi getting exiled, and basically wishing
Go ahead,
he was
talk about that for a little bit.
She thinks she's out of the game, or she doesn't think she's out of the game, but she almost straight up says she wishes she was not in the game.
Yeah, no, I that would have pissed me off so much if I was out there and she was saying that. I'm like, all right, whoever gets voted out, she's gonna be taking my spot, or whoever spot gets voted out, like whoever gets voted out deserves it more.
Yeah, and she's basically asking, like, when I come back from exile, whatever tribe I'm on, you're voting me out, and I'm fine with it. She basically said she had gotten what she came there for, like she got the experience she wanted, and she was out. And you know what? If you're going to come out there and just out there for the experience and you're content with leaving whenever, that's fine with me. That's not the issue I have with her. The issue I have with Lisi is that she's an asshole, is what I think. She's just not a likable person.
She's not. She's really not.
Yeah, so this isn't like Thailand or One World even level of unlikable. Like there's only a couple. I would say Lisi and Rocky are really the only two people that are just totally unlikable. Besides that, everyone's at least, even if they're
something
not
redeeming.
Something, yeah. There's something about them. All right. So, like we said, at the new Moto tribe, I think this is when you could tell that Cassandra is starting to come tight with Earl and Yao Man, and they realize they need her because she rightfully is telling them that she wasn't really in an alliance on the old tribe, and she's willing to work with them.
This was like the first like big winner confession you got from Earl. When he was like, once he thinks he got Cassandra in with him, he's like, whatever goes around here, it goes through me.
Goes through me, yeah.
And like, I love the balls that he had to say that, and just the fact that he was totally dead on.
Oh, he was spot on. But Earl, it was also like he was kind of sneaky. Like he wasn't. See, like he was saying that in his confessionals, but he wasn't running around camp thinking like this is my island. Like he wasn't.
Well, because that's what good players do.
Yeah, exactly.
The good players don't run around and say, I'm running everything.
Yeah,
they
of course.
Save everything of that for the confessionals.
Yeah. All right. So what was the next immunity challenge?
They were all like tied to that like one wheel, and they had to like push and pull them to get through the bamboo.
Okay. Yeah.
And this one was really close, but then
really
of course
close.
Moto wins.
Yeah. So even with I think this just shows you like Ravu had a tribe basically besides Anthony full of strong men. And I mean, just what they're dealing with at camp, it's not easy. And
it's emphasized everything about why I hate this chest. Like
exactly.
That Ravu tribe was one of the strongest tribes you'll probably ever see, and they couldn't win a challenge.
Yeah. That's a good point. I really think like, especially you said it was that close that with the little bit of extra luxury, they probably would have won this challenge. So the haves versus haves not just really plays a factor in this pre-merge. And it's why like, I don't hate the pre-merge, but I think the post-merge portion of the game is stronger for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
In this season.
The thing with the pre-merge is like you knew Ravu was going to lose just who's going home. And most of the time it was predictable.
Yeah. All right. So at this tribal with Ravu, it's basically
it was very clear it was Anthony. It was very clear it was Anthony. It was just going to be, do Alex, Edgardo, and Dreams feel bad enough for Anthony to keep him around and to get rid of Rocky? But
yeah,
they knew Rocky was better for them.
Yeah, it was pretty clear, but I think like Rocky also at this tribal though, when it was so clear Anthony was going home, so clear
he was trying to get the target on him.
All he had to do was keep his mouth shut, but he was just so obnoxious. Like he just had to talk shit at tribal, and it's like, bro,
he really had to kick Anthony on the way out.
Yeah, it's like, do you want to stay next? Like he ends up being voted out after Anthony, which I don't think this helped his cause for that. He might have still went anyways, but this definitely wasn't a good look for him to the rest of the tribe. It
was so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, so Anthony's very predictably voted out there, like we said. And then we get to episode 7 where Lisi joins the Ravu tribe. And immediately I was thinking like she's going to be the next boot easily. Like these are a bunch of macho men that just do whatever. But Lisi comes back and I guess has a change of heart. And she's willing to work with the men from her old tribe.
Because she likes Alex and Edgardo.
Yeah. And do you think Alex and Edgardo decent social game? I guess
I didn't think it was bad.
Yeah,
like it was good. What's the word I can use? It was satisfactory because like it's not horrible enough where it hurts your game, but it's not good enough where it really will take your game to the next level.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. They were fine players. They weren't good players, but they were okay.
They weren't awful, but they weren't great. Yeah. They were like kind of in the middle, like more towards the lower part of the middle.
Yeah. All right, so Earl and Yao Man at this point, this is where they finally find the idol.
Yep.
Yao Man is alone because Earl does what he did a couple episodes earlier and goes off with everyone else in the tribe to give Yao Man the chance to look. And he ends up finding the idol, which is funny because it's at the other camp, not the camp he was originally at. So at this point, we know as a viewer that both of the idols are
in the cave
and require like the same amount of digging. I think they're in like pretty much the same exact spot.
Well, because they had to be, because the clues are like dead on. The clues are
Yeah.
the same, no matter which beach you're coming from. So they have to be the
Yeah.
idols at the same spot. The only other time we see this is where it's the same clue and it's two idols is Tokachins.
Yeah. All right.
And they
So
hit those idols at the same spot.
Yao Man gets this idol with the help of Earl, and they're going to end up being able to hold on to this for a while until they can successfully play it. All right. So I think at this point, Ravu finally wins a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reward challenge. I think they go to some like arcade or something.
It's an arcade where they can feast on like hot dogs and beer.
Yeah, and I think Alex eats too much and drinks too much or something, and Rocky starts making like snarky comments about it. And
yeah,
I think this is the final straw for him. Like, he's gradually been pissing people off just more and more and more, and this is finally what does him in. I think the boys who are running shit on that tribe realize that Lisi will be a more valuable asset for them down the road, and they honestly could have just voted out Rocky because they just didn't like him. It could have been
that too.
Yeah, there were multiple reasons to get rid of him though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it all started with.
They also knew Lisi would be a loyal number for them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And then it was more just they didn't want to tell Mookie because they knew Mookie would try to save Rocky.
Yeah.
But of course, he finds out from dreams.
God, dreams. We'll get to dreams at the marriage in a minute. All right, so yeah, this vote was going to be Lisi, I think, until this reward happened, and Rocky just annoyed them that much to the point where like they sort of started to change their mind. But I think originally before this reward was going to be Lisi.
Yeah, probably.
All right. But so I have here. Go on.
Rocky's mouth just got him in trouble. Like,
of course.
Could have did much earlier on in the game.
Yeah. All right. So I also have here. This is where Yao Man makes the fake idol. And honestly, it's not that good of a fake idol.
No. But
it's the first one, so it kind of changed the game. And at the time, I guess, idols weren't as long tenured in Survivor, and people might not know what they look like. So, yeah, like I could see someone falling for this idol, and it was good thinking by Yao Man.
Mm-hmm. I like to think just the execution was very good, but at this point, it was the first time it was ever done. So
yeah, and it shows you Yao Man's how advanced his head was at strategically.
God, he could run circles at every single one of those people, probably besides Earl.
Besides Earl, yeah. I think Earl, he ends up winning the game. I think Earl's a better player than Yao Man. Yao Man might just be a little bit better of a character and more likable, but I'll say Earl is better. To me, Yao Man has a little bit of that Christian in him, where he's just like Christian Hubicki from David versus Goliath. I just think it's hard for someone like that to ever win the game.
Yeah, because most of the time they'll end up putting a target on their back, and unless they can keep pulling out idols, they're going to go home.
Yeah, unless you have a season like that was set up, a returning season that's perfectly set up for you, like fucking Cochran did. I think it's hard for kind of like that nerdy
archetype,
like likable, great social game, great strategic game archetype to win the game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's difficult. So yeah. All right. So he makes the fake idol, and then we have the another great challenge. Isn't this the one where they're all blindfolded and they have collars?
Yeah.
And Michelle falls off
the platform.
Yeah. Oh, that's one of the funnier. moments of the season, I think.
Yeah.
Like if you talk about if I talk about Fiji like months from now, like not watching it, and I just think of Survivor Fiji, that's one of the first things I remember.
You have her fall off the platform, then at the matching challenge, Lacey falling off the platform there.
Oh yeah. All right, so yeah, Moto wins again. Finally, this ends just the predictability of who's going to win every immunity challenge. Oh, it got so old.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was another close one though. Like this swapped tribe with the boys, they all were clearly more I don't know, they were better at challenges, and they had a better chance of like winning challenges than that original Ravu tribe did.
Yeah, and then like we said, this was just came down to Lacey and Rocky, and then Rocky ended up going.
Yeah, and we said he kind of did it to himself beforehand.
It was even after the challenge.
Yeah, I think
Alex
he also.
Ricardo was...
I think that Rocky also didn't see it coming though.
No, he didn't. He was totally blindsided.
And he was very like, he wasn't bitter really. He was very like, actually like, good job guys, like you got me basically. Which I was surprised with Rocky's temper. He wasn't like,
well, you waited until his final words.
Yeah. His final words.
He just screamed.
Yeah. He's got to go out with a bang.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll talk about this. Rocky's the first member of the jury. Do you like them having jury members that did not make the merge? Because I don't like it actually. I think that the jury should always start right at the merge. Merge boot should be first jury member.
Yeah, I guess I kind of feel the same, but I don't hate it, but it's like I'm very I don't fall on one side or the other. It really doesn't bother me.
Didn't you do in your first season of your game the opposite?
Yeah, the merge boot did not make the jury.
The merge boot. So you had a Boston Rob Marquesis ish there.
Because Jordan didn't want a final 3 in a jury of 9, but we also didn't know we'd have to throw someone out of the game at final 8. So if we knew that, we would let the first the merge boot on the jury. But,
yeah.
Sorry.
That's fair enough. All right. So now, I keep forgetting we're not merged. Episode 8.
No, there's one more boot.
Yeah. Still pre-merge. All right. So this is where Alex, Edgardo, and Mookie find the idol. I think the very beginning of the next episode. And Lacey was key in this because she wanted to get in with them, and she, I guess, gave the immunity clues to Alex.
Yeah.
And
which then led to...
See, do you think that was smart for her? Or do you think she should have just looked for it herself?
I would have looked for it myself.
Yeah, me too. Especially when these guys are clearly just using you. You're probably on the chopping block next.
But I don't know if that thought ever went through Lacey's head. I think she's like, oh, I trust these guys. They just voted to keep me. I'm going to try to share them. And they completely, Alex, Edgardo, and Mookie all just took off and looked for it for themselves.
Yeah, so this is the first time in Survivor history we see an idol found by more than one person at the same time. Mm-hmm. So all three...
Mookie had his hand on it first, so it was Mookie's idol.
And his confessional says, I know that, like, we all found this idol, but I'm the one who has it. Like, which is ironic how that ends up playing out. Mm-hmm. Very ironic quote.
Yeah, when the idols are like found together like that, whoever puts their hand on it first, it's theirs.
Yeah.
And just by the Survivor rules, it was always Mookie's idol.
Yeah. Okay. So it's always theirs, but Mookie, like he said, he makes it clear that it's his idol, even though Alex and Edgardo think it's for all three of them. But then he ends up, I guess, changing his mind later on when he sees an opportunity. But we'll get to that. But all right. So
this episode is another very predictable episode.
Yeah.
because Moto,
And then
it's the reward challenge where it's the dancing, which Moto wins.
Oh yeah, that was interesting. I thought I would have.
It was cool
being in that challenge.
I would have been Yao Man. I would have just sat out of that challenge so fast.
Yeah. I would have been like, guys, good luck. I'm taking the L on this one. Oh, back to other thing I had in my notes. Mookie actually had some fun with this idol too, and he got Lisi to look in like, or they were digging like
she dug in the exact same spot, and she's like, "Well, Mookie, you got to get up pretty early to get past me," not knowing that Mookie already had the idol in his pocket.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Good job by Mookie on that.
Yeah,
won't say that too many times about Mookie this season, but
I thought it was even better when like Mookie afterwards, like, "Oh, here, I'll help you dig." After he gets Lacey to start digging for the idol.
Yeah.
And then he's getting this confession like she's not gonna find anything.
All right, yeah. So Lacey goes back to Exile, and this is where I think she has she's starting to say things like she doesn't want to be here anymore. I think it's raining pretty hard.
Yeah, she had enough rough night on Exile.
Yeah. She seemed like when she got to the camp, she had better spirits, but now those spirits are gone again, and she really doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
All right, so immunity challenge was archery.
It was all the different weapons.
Yeah.
Like the blow darts, the spear, and then the archery, and then Moto just killed him.
Yeah, and I think Ravu had extreme confidence about this one too.
It was Edgardo who had all that confidence.
Edgardo thought he was gonna kill it or something, and he sucked.
Edgardo was like, "Oh, I'm good at archery. I can totally kill it." Pulls the bow back, doesn't even hit the target.
Yeah, he was horrible.
Yao Man was great in this challenge.
Oh, he was nasty. He had like this weird like
the spear, like he walked all the way back and then just ran and just almost hit the bullseye.
Yeah, he had this weird approach to it, but it worked for him.
Hey, whatever won them the challenge.
Yeah.
And how Earl didn't have to do anything. Like he was always the last one to go for Moto. Bravo was so bad at the challenge that Earl never had to go.
Yeah. So Lisi at this point basically tells them, like I said earlier, I think she told them she's gotten what she needs out of the game, and it's over. Like she's basically surrendering, saying it's okay if you guys vote me out.
And until she changes her mind.
Until she changes her mind so much in like a span of like 3 episodes. Like, does she want to be there? Does she not want to be there? That's what I don't understand about her. I just doesn't. She's one of those weird characters that like you can't really figure out what her motives are ever. But she's not likable.
No, she's not.
She changed her mind and then hoped that they would vote out Dreams, which ironically, as bad of a player as Lisi is, she was right.
It was a good call.
Edgardo and Alex should have voted out Dreams in this situation. They should have, but
they should have.
I guess good on Dreams for making them think he was with them for sure. And I mean, Edgardo and Alex had been with Dreams the entire game up to this point, so I could kind of see it. And Dreams had never been with Earl at this point at all either. They had never been on the same tribe. So
yeah, they weren't.
You couldn't have really predicted that he was going to flip, but in hindsight, it would have been a better move to get rid of Dreams instead of...
Yeah, Monday morning quarterback, you would have definitely gotten rid of Dreams at this spot.
Yeah. All right. So we're here. We're finally merged. Day 22, they head to Exile Island.
Yep, they get their buffs there, and they go back to Moto. They're all excited, especially Mookie, because Mookie never lived the Moto life.
Yep.
They get back to Moto, and it's gone. Yep. All of it.
So how do you feel about this? Do you like this?
I loved it.
Me too. I think it would have been stupid if they just kept their luxurious camp for this post-merge portion of the game. Yeah, it sucks if you're Mookie, who's lived on Ravu the entire season, but
Well, then Mookie should have been the one most used to it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, I like that they had nothing, and here we see a lot of chaos. Like you're not really sure where people's heads are really at because of the swap and like what the original tribes looked like. It's really hard to see what alliances people are really in. Like you see the Four Horsemen alliance, and then there's the alliance with
Earl, Yao Man, Michelle, and
Cassandra, and then they end up pulling Boo and Stacy in later when they need her. But at this point, I think Michelle is in the best position in the game besides Earl and Yao Man, and she just gets screwed this episode. I think she's one of the, besides them, I think she might be the only other one that could have won the game.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Maybe Alex, if the numbers worked out right for him at a certain point, or Edgardo or Mookie, one of them, those three, maybe. But I think that Michelle is your best bet to make a run.
Besides if it's not Earl or Yao.
Yeah. All right. So this challenge.
Hated it. Not the challenge. I hated that they divided them back into tribes or teams.
Yeah. I don't like, see, all right. I hate it as the first challenge after, as a swap, like a divided tribal as the first tribal after the merge. I don't hate it in like you remember Island of the Idols where they did it?
Yeah, but here's the difference also with that one. At least in Island of the Idols and Ghost Island, they did that. It was the two teams were separated and both still went to tribal council.
Both went to tribal, yeah.
In this scenario, the team that won didn't go to tribal. It was just the 5 that lost went, and one of them went home. I'm like, that I don't like.
Yeah, so we had this twist in the Twitter game that I played with Vreeland and Tony, and they were on the tribe that won, but this was like right after we turned on them. So they literally gave the people from our losing tribe 2 idols to get either me, Garrett, or Eric out of the game. And then Eric had his super idol, which he had to flush. And then Garrett ended up going home with 1 vote. And I knew he was getting the 1 vote, and I didn't say anything to him because if I did, it could have been me, because it was either me or him. And I can relate. So I hate this twist.
Yeah, R.I.P. Garrett.
Yeah, they should both go to. If they do it, they should both be going to tribal.
Yeah,
but I also hate the timing of it. Like, why do it the first vote after the merge? Just have a classic merge episode where the first time going to tribal with what? How many people are left at this? 10 people.
10.
Yeah. So go to tribal with 10 people, make it normal. But instead, they have these random teams drawn, and Michelle is on the team where if she loses, like it's either her or Stacy. It's pretty obvious because Alex, Dreams, and Mookie are gonna vote together for this vote.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, and then what makes it even worse is that I think they didn't even go back. They had to go straight to tribal, right?
Yeah, as soon as the challenge ended, they had to go to tribal.
So do you think that made it even worse, or you think Michelle goes home no matter what?
I think Michelle probably goes home no matter what.
Yeah. So she's a classic example of easily the most robbed player on this whole season by far because of this twist. And like I said, I think she could have won if it wasn't Yao Man or Earl. I think she was probably the 3rd best player in this game.
Yeah, I think so too.
And a season that was so dominated by men, she was
easily the best woman in the cast.
The one woman that had her head fully in the game. Like I know Stacy and Cassandra made it further, but I don't think either of them were good players at all.
I would love to see Michelle get another chance. I don't think it's gonna happen, but
yeah, I think Perdium in his video had he mentioned her name actually. He said the robbed Fijian goddess Michelle Yee, bring her back. Like she could have been on the second chance ballot. I think nobody would have had an issue with that.
Yeah, I just don't think she'd get on because that was Fiji is like such a forgotten season.
Yeah,
like, I don't. Like, 'cause I know the only other people that were in like the teens who were on the ballot was like Terry, PG, and Monica Padilla. I know the three of them all got on, but
and then Shane, who somehow didn't get on. But,
Shane didn't. No, I forgot about Shane.
But yeah, they those are much more popular seasons there, so it makes sense. Yeah. I don't think she would have gotten on.
I don't think she would have gotten them on either, but it would have been nice to see her on the ballot, especially for Monica Padilla.
Yeah. So did they all vote for Michelle here, or did Stacy vote for?
No, Mookie and Michelle voted for Stacy. Stacy, Dreams, and Alex all vote for Michelle.
Yeah, so this is weird why Mookie voted for her because
well, Mookie's also was never on a tribe with Stacy. He was good with Michelle from the early days of Bravo, so I think
that's true.
I just don't think he wanted to vote her out. Same thing what he wanted to do with Rocky 2 votes ago.
Yeah.
Like he's like, if they're going, fine, but he's not going to vote for them.
Yeah. It just seemed that weird that I thought him and Alex were just such a tight pair at this point because especially since they found an idol together, that they wouldn't have voted not together. But I guess Alex was okay with it because Michelle was still going home either way.
Yeah.
Good jury management by Mookie if he ever had a chance to get to the end.
And it was the second time he did it because he did it for Rocky too.
Yep. So I guess Mookie's a man of his word. Mm-hmm. Guess one thing you can say about him. All right. So at this point, I think that Earl back at camp is pretty worried that Michelle is going home. And he's right.
Mm-hmm. This next episode is one of my favorites of the season.
So I think this is actually the best episode. Some people think it's the car one, but I think it's episode 13.
That one's number 2. I think this one's better.
Yeah, I agree. So there's a lot going on here. This is truly the first merge tribal, which is crazy because there's 9 people left. And like nowadays we see that.
To me, like this is the turning point of the whole game.
It really is. Really is. All right. So everybody, I think, realizes too right away that this next vote is going to decide who takes control of the game.
Mm-hmm. Was it going to be the Four Horsemen? Is it going to be Earl?
Yep. And then there's Dreams, who is just recklessly playing both sides. Like, it's one thing if you're going to play both sides. Like, we've all done it before. But, like, this guy...
Don't make it so obvious, and don't be so bad at it.
He was terrible at it, to the point where not one person wanted him in on this vote. So...
This reminded me...
Hold on. Is there a reward challenge?
Yeah, it's touchy subjects.
Oh, it was touchy subjects. Okay. So Stacy gets all the bad ones. That's all I know.
Yeah, Cassandra gets every question right.
And she wins. And who does she take?
She took, I believe, Boo, Yao Man.
And Dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of interesting, but I think she wanted to take Boo to lock him in with them. Because they were still a little skeptical about where Boo's head was really at.
And then they took Dream. She took Dreams because she was trying to lure him in.
Yeah.
Because remember, the two of them were tight on original Moto.
They were, yeah.
And so she was trying to use that to get him back in with her and Earl.
And you see that his loyalty is more to them than to the Four Horsemen. Mm-hmm. Which see, the tough thing with Dreams is that he's on the bottom of either of those alliances. So,
yeah, but part of me wants to give him credit for like saying that the Four Horsemen, it was 4 of them against the 5 on the other tribe, so he wants to go with the numbers. Yeah, because if he stays with the Four Horsemen, he will go earlier than there. But at the same time, it's like you didn't do it very well.
No.
It was comically bad.
Yeah, very bad. All right, so yeah, at that point, like you said, there's a known alliance between the Four Horsemen, and then there's Yao Man, Cassandra, and Dreams, who are, Yao Man, Cassandra, and Earl, who are together, and then Stacy and Boo are kind of on the outs, but you can see that they're going to go with
Earl because of the Four Horsemen kind of just cocky. They're like, we're good. We have an idol.
Yep.
Which they finally had to tell Dreams about.
Yeah, and to me, Mookie made a mistake. He shouldn't have told Dreams. If they were going to tell him, they should have told him right when they found it. Instead, telling someone who thinks you're in a total alliance with them, like...
Yeah, no, I would have told them right off the bat.
Yeah, like telling them late just shows signs of skepticism and distrust. So
if you didn't tell them as soon as you found it, you don't tell them at all.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I see it. They should have kept it between those three, but instead Mookie had to tell him, and Edgardo, I think, was pissed that Mookie told Dreams. Really pissed, and I would have been too.
Well, in fairness to Mookie, it was Mookie's idol.
Yeah.
So it just happened to not be Mookie's own game. He ended up sinking that night.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So Yao Man wins immunity.
Yeah, it's the Chimney Sweep Challenge. I love this challenge, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's so beneficial to be a tiny ass dude like Yao Man when your feet... Like my fat feet I would suck at this challenge.
Oh, I'd be done in like 5 minutes probably.
Yeah, me too. I think this is I like the one where you just have to wrap around the pole, like the one that Jeremy's really good at, the fireman one. I like that one better. But I still do like this one. But anyways, yeah, Yao Man wins, and everyone, I guess the majority, thinks one of the Four Horsemen has to go. But they then find out about the idol because Dreams tells Cassandra and Earl that Mookie has an idol.
Yeah.
So what do you think of this?
Dreams.
Yeah, he's just chaos this episode. It's all over the place. But to the point where like they almost like could have came together and just said, why don't we just vote out Dreams tonight and not have to worry about it? But
yeah, but Earl's smarter than that.
Exactly.
Earl totally just played Dreams and the Four Horsemen because he sees Mookie hand the idol to Alex.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, let's just vote for Mookie then because Mookie doesn't have the idol. And then so Dreams walks away, and then Earl looks at everyone, we're voting Edgardo.
See, my other thing is like, which I was totally wondering, were they not allowed to get up at Tribal and play it for some, like, have the idol and say, I'm not playing this for myself, I'm playing it for Mookie?
I'm not sure. Like, I assumed you could, but we didn't really see that. I think the first time you got up and played an idol for someone else. Oh, when was that? Was it
Micronesia?
No, because Amanda played it for herself.
Yeah.
Was it Redemption Island?
Yeah, because
when Ralph got up and said, "Here, I'm playing this for Mike," because the only other one was Heroes vs. Villains, but Russell turns around, hands it to Parvati, and lets Parvati hand it.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. He could have just handed it to him at Tribal.
Yeah, Mookie could just be like, "Here, Alex, catch."
Instead, that was like the sketchiest like idol like handout. Like, remember how they were trying to like put it in the sand? Like they look so.
It was
sketchy.
It was like definitely trying to like sneak in something in class. And I'm like, dude, that's so fucking obvious.
Yeah, it was really obvious.
It'll work, Mookie. It'll work.
It
didn't work.
They were so confident it was gonna work, and this this is also important in Survivor history too, because
It's the
I
first
think
time this idol was ever played.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time it was ever played incorrectly.
Yep. And I wasn't even just thinking from that perspective. I was thinking from the Earls Alliance perspective.
Yeah, voting for the person who's not going to get the idol played for them.
This invented we are voting for the person who is least likely to play the idol.
Mm-hmm.
And
because they know Mookie had it. It was Mookie's idol, and he was like, oh, Dreams just told him, oh, he passes to Alex. Like, okay, so it could be either one of them. Let's vote for Edgardo.
That was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant.
And then not telling Dreams about it either.
It seems simple at the time, and yes, let's get to that. So Dreams votes for Mookie, right?
Yeah. So he turns on the Four Horsemen, but he gets left out of what Earl's Alliance does because they all vote for Edgardo.
Yeah. It's just hilarious to show you. Just goes to show you that if you're being sketchy and doing a bad job of playing both sides, that you're going to get left out of the votes on both sides, basically. Except, I mean, the Four Horsemen did think that they did think Dreams was voting with them, correct?
Yes.
And also, like, why do you think they targeted Cassandra and not Earl? Like, if they were going to idle out someone, go for a bigger threat than Cassandra.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that. Like, go for Earl.
Yeah. Well, I guess Earl did a good job of. I think he did a good job of hiding his, like, lowering his threat level.
He definitely hid behind. He used Yao Man as a shield.
For sure, and he knew what he was doing, and even to some extent, I guess Boo was a shield too, just because of how good he was at challenges.
Yeah.
You think so?
I guess like as a challenge threat, kind of, but I didn't see Boo as like this great player that you could hide behind. Like, no, I'd definitely be more scared of Yao Man if I was out there than Boo.
All right, so let's get to this tribal. So at tribal council, when they asked to play the immunity idol, Alex gets up and plays it for himself. And as the votes are written, as the votes are like read, I think the
three Cassandra votes.
3 Cassandra votes. Yeah, that's right.
And then the Mookie vote.
And then the Mookie vote.
Then the Edgardo vote. And then Edgardo votes come out.
Yeah. Oh, so it's not even like they got it right and played it for Mookie, which would have negated one vote. They completely whiffed on this. And I give all the power to Earl for this vote.
I loved Earl's face. Like, once the Edgardo vote comes out, he's just like sitting there so smug. He's like, that worked.
I loved Edgardo's look on his face too.
His name was like,
yeah.
And him slowly realizing all the votes that come out, they're all him. And he's just like,
yeah, it was a classic Four Horsemen get power and then just horrible. And now Mookie and Alex know the writing's on the wall for them soon. But I'll give them credit. They both tried to do what they could still.
Mm-hmm. I give Alex more credit than I give Mookie.
Yeah, Alex is the superior player in that alliance to anyone, I think.
Mm-hmm. And you'll see it in this next episode that we're about to talk about.
Yep. All right. So episode 11, another decent one, I think. The whole post-merge is pretty good. I really think.
Yeah, I guess it was good, but it's like at this time you knew it was gonna be Alex and Mookie going home, so
it's a little predictable. We have some more exciting moments later on, but it's not like it's a complete like Redemption Island great merge boot and then just complete drag to the finish line. It's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad, but I will say it's not that great. But I digress.
Yeah, all right. So let's get back to camp here. So this is where Alex and Mookie are furious with Dreams, as I would be too. He basically ruined their whole plans and looked like a jackass in the process because he wasn't even in on the other side's vote, which is funny. They completely left him out. But what was Dreams' cover for this? Do you remember?
Dreams' cover, I think, was more something about the like not trusting them,
Yeah.
but I'm
Oh,
not
because they didn't
100%
tell him about the idol.
the
Yeah.
idol. And so he's like, "Oh, so you guys didn't trust me enough to tell me, so why should I trust you?" And then him realizing that, hey, that other side doesn't trust you either.
Yeah. It's
They
true.
totally
And,
lied to you about how the vote was going.
yeah. And it's where I think why another reason Alex and Edgardo are better players than Mookie is because Mookie should not have told Dreams about that idol.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, if he told him, he should have told him right away. Not
As soon as they found it, they should have told him. Because I think
Yeah.
if they told him then, I don't think he blabs.
Yeah. And then they might have been able to play it on the correct person. I still think they could have whiffed it because Earl just had that played so well, but
Well, to
there's
me,
a better chance.
I'm not trying to take credit away from Earl here, but I think definitely him getting the information that not only do they have an idol of where exactly the idol was being given, like
Yeah.
that Mookie gave it to Alex, which led them to like, all right, we'll vote for Edgardo. I think if they could have easily just voted Alex, but
Yeah.
I could be wrong. Or I know Earl's definitely a smart dude. He could have figured that out on his own.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So getting into this episode, was there a reward challenge?
Yeah, it was launching the
The ball.
slingshot, launching the balls into the catch. And this one, Mookie gets really mad at Yao Man.
Yeah, and I think Boo gets hurt again and sent to exile.
Yeah.
And who wins the Alex, Dreams, Earl, and Stacy win the reward. Yeah. And then I have later. So at this point, Alex and Mookie think and correctly think that Yao Man has the other idol. And they want to make a move on him, which was
they check his bag.
They check his bag, yeah. And they found it.
Yeah.
But they pretty much assumed before that he had it. And they were right. But what do you think of going through people's bags? Do you think it's right or no?
It's a game. Do what you can.
It's $1 million. Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's for $1 million. Like
there's no rule against it. You're not taking anything out of there. It's just like if this is just as a player, if you're dumb enough to leave your bag unattended and you have something important in there, that's your own fault.
Yeah. So
that's why, especially nowadays, most of these players don't even leave idols in their bags. They dig holes and they hide them in there at camp.
Yeah. So I would honestly, if I had an idol on Survivor, I would be so paranoid with it that I'd probably just have it on me at all times. Like,
yeah, to me, that's such an easy tell that you have one. I would find somewhere like far off and dig it. Yeah. Because the thing is, even if someone digs up where you have it, the production tells them, no, that's someone else's idol. They won't tell you who it is, but it's like, I would never leave my idol in my bag.
Oh, especially unattended.
Or in my pocket.
Yeah. Well, I guess if it's in your pocket, they just see like a bulge, like.
Yeah, that's to leave it in your pocket is dumb, but like I would not leave it in my bag either. Because then if I would do that, I'd be so paranoid. I'd take my bag everywhere. Like walking around camp, they're like, why does he always have his bag with him?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I would never leave if I have something in there that I don't want people getting, I would never leave it alone.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, and I remember, like, definitely when they were talking about, like, oh, Mookie and Alex went through Yao Man's bag and found an idol. The people weren't mad that Yao Man had an idol. They were mad that his stuff got went through. I'm like, are you missing the whole point of the game?
Yeah. I guess it was a different time for Survivor. Some of the stuff that looked bad then doesn't look as bad. People do it now. All right.
Because people's stuff gets went through all the time now, Survivor.
Yeah.
If you're dumb enough to leave it around, your stuff could get searched.
Yeah. So they were going to call out Yao Man at Tribal and basically just get him to lie about not having an idol or to admit that he had it, I think. But I think instead they confronted him at the camp. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they did.
So with this, they tried to blackmail him, I think. It's pretty much like the episode. I think it's the title. It's in the episode of the title of the episode. Blackmail or betray, I think. So they basically said they were going to tell his alliance that he had the idol.
Mm-hmm.
And then
When they
Yao
do,
Man does decide to tell them. And like you said, this is when people aren't mad about that. They're
they're not mad
that,
about the idol. They're mad about the stuff getting went through. And
yeah.
I was dumbfounded as a player.
Yeah. All right. So moving on, we got an immunity challenge. What was this challenge? Do you remember this challenge or no? I'm trying to remember.
The immunity one?
Yeah.
It was Battleship.
Yeah, it was with the squares and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess a lot of it, this comes down to luck, and that's why Stacy won. So kind of random, but yeah, at this point, it's pretty inevitable that Alex and Mookie are going home, I would say.
Yeah.
Especially after they went through their bags. People like really didn't. They were going home before that, but they were pretty much fed up
Sealed
with
their fate.
Yeah. There's talk about a split vote, though.
Yeah, in case another idol was just found, which Earl is totally against this idea.
Yeah. And what do you think about that?
The idol just got played. Do you really think they'd find it that quickly? Especially because they didn't go to Exile. It was Boo who did.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays, with idols being easier to find, I think the split vote would have been a good idea.
Yes, in current Survivor, I would have split the votes. Not
Yeah,
on season 14 when an idol was
season
just
14.
played. You need the clue from Exile to find it.
Yeah,
I think the split was unnecessary.
Yeah. So at Tribal, it's clear at this point that Yao Man has the idol. Like everyone
knows it.
Yeah. Every single person knows he has the idol. And it's brought up, Alex and Mookie are on the outs, and they do split the votes, actually.
Yeah, they do.
And
they put it was supposed to be 3-3, but Alex knows ahead of time they're splitting, so he votes for Mookie, which makes Mookie go home, even though they wanted Alex gone.
Yeah. So is this why is this what you were talking about earlier? Why you said you think Alex is a better player?
Yes. Because I think a good player would know at the time that, hey, it's between me and him. Like, as much as I like the dude, I'm going to do what I can to try to stay in the game.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, I think Alex is a better player for other reasons too, but this kind of emphasized it to me. Mookie wouldn't have done it. We already saw twice pre-merge that he voted for someone that he
knew wasn't going home because he didn't want to vote out an ally.
Exactly. So, yeah, good move by Alex there, but he's in huge trouble now. He's all alone.
When they get back to camp, Earl's pissed.
Yeah.
He's like, that's exactly why I didn't want the vote split.
Yeah.
Because Alex is still there.
Yeah, and Alex is he's the only big threat not in their alliance. So Mookie wasn't that big of a threat to them, but I guess Alex the perception of Alex was higher.
Alex was definitely seen as a better player than Mookie.
All right, so at this point, we see Cassandra, Earl, and Yao Man are now clearly the dominant alliance, but they don't really have a fourth, like because Dreams is all over the place, and then Boo and Stacy are still sort of on the out, so they really need that fourth person. And this is where they kind of conflict on things, because I think that Earl wants Dreams to be that fourth, and Yao Man wants Stacy to be the fourth.
Yeah.
But I don't think Yao Man doesn't trust Dreams, and Earl doesn't really trust Stacy. They still end up working together the next vote, but
it was clear that they had no intention of taking Boo that much farther.
Yeah, for sure. And then Boo starts to win challenges, right?
Yeah, he
So
won his first
he
immunity
wins
episode.
the reward challenge, which is the gross, like the meat.
Ugh, I hate the challenge so much.
You hate that challenge. Yeah, it's nasty, I think. Makes you want to throw up just
Yeah.
watching it. To me, it's grosser than watching the food eating challenges.
Yeah,
Because you
me
just
too.
see all this meat just like flying everywhere. Everyone like
Ugh,
mouths.
and then they get down
completely
when they
full.
drop it, they go to pick it up. Ugh.
Yeah. Oh, it's disgusting. All right. So Boo wins that challenge. And who does he take?
Well, no, he
Does
doesn't
he
take us. The top three go.
a top
There's
three all
himself,
go
Dreams,
to
and Yao Man.
Yao Man, and then Earl goes back to Exile.
Yep.
Earl Island, as he calls it. He's there so much. I mean, how many times did he go to Exile total? Like 4?
4, I believe.
4? I think it's
Which is-
4.
I can just double check it now. It's at least 4 off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think it's 4.
1, 2, 3, 4 times. Yep.
Okay.
Which is one short of the record, which is 5.
Yeah. So at this point, I think Alex's only play is to convince them that Boo needs to go before him. And he tries. He really does. But
Then
Boo
Boo wins
wins
immunity.
immunity again. And what challenge was it? It was
It was you had to dig up your pegs. Because remember, part of Boo's reward is he got an advantage in the challenge.
got the advantage. You're right.
Where
Yeah.
all he had to do was just climb up the pole.
He
get this
he got
flag
to
and he
skip the
wins.
digging, right?
Mm-hmm.
Completely.
And then
Yeah.
Alex and Dreams had to do the digging. Alex almost wins the challenge, then slips at the last second, which lets Boo win.
Yeah. All right. So Boo wins immunity again. And Alex basically at this point, after trying to convince everyone they have to vote out Boo, now
Switches
shifts
to
it
Yao Man.
to Yao Man. And I mean, he was right.
It was a good idea because, like, hey, Yao Man has the idol. If you vote for him, if he doesn't play it, he goes home with the idol in his pocket. If not,
Yeah.
I go home anyway. This is not going to fall back on you guys. His pitch was good. It was just they should have listened. And I feel like Dreams actually like thought about it before.
Yeah, he did. And
me,
I think that I mean, we see what happens the next episode. Like, if they had blindsided Yao Man with the idol here, it would have been for everyone besides Earl, like a much better move for him because they all vote for Yao Man the very next tribal, where it was a lot more obvious of a time to play the idol. Like, I don't think Yao Man would have played the idol on this vote if they had smoothly come together and plotted to vote him out. So
he knew his name was out there, and he still didn't play the idol. He was still really confident. Like, as soon as Yao Man said, like, "Oh, I'm confident, I'm gonna get past his vote," I would have flipped and voted him out.
Yeah, he was confident in his alliance. So Alex goes, and now we are down to the final 6.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so final 6. This is the other
infamous car episode.
Other great episode of the season, I would say, because
mm-hmm.
there's a lot going on. So at the beginning, Boo does his little pre-Tony Vlachos spy shack sort of thing, which I honestly completely forgot about. I didn't realize that someone had sort of done this before Tony. I'm not saying Tony stole the idea.
He definitely but he was just trying to hide and do this. He didn't make like any elaborate spy shacks as a get-go plan like Tony did.
Yeah. But you clearly see Boo knew he was next on the chopping block.
Yeah, so he was going to do what he could to try to get some intel.
Yeah, it wasn't strategical, like genius or anything. It was just
no. It's very much, how do I save my ass?
Yeah. All right, so now we get to the famous car reward challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So no one who's ever won the car has ever won the show. We talked about it last episode.
Yeah, because when Brian almost won the challenge, but because he was an idiot and said the word out loud, which let Ted win, and then Ted got voted out that episode.
Yeah. All right, so we have Yao Man win the new truck, and without even Dreams didn't have to ask him anything. He just immediately
Well, also before the challenge, they knew it was gonna be the car challenge, and Dreams kind of said
talked
ahead of
about how he
time,
doesn't have a car.
yeah. And so I think Yao Man definitely used that to try to be like,
All right, so let's talk about this from Yao Man's perspective first. Do you think it was a good idea?
if I'm Yao Man and I don't need it at home, like if I'm totally fine without it, I do it.
Yeah, like I don't know what Yao Man's job was. Maybe software engineer.
He was a computer engineer, I think.
Yeah, so I think he's probably pretty well off.
Yeah, he didn't need
Yeah, so if you don't need the car, like it's not a horrible idea.
and especially because this other person needs it. Like the only thing that I have like he definitely tried bargaining it, which it's a game you have to. Like he definitely bargained it. Like I don't need it, you do. Like, but I want you to do something for me.
Yeah, and I mean, I just think he should have realized Dreams never was going to make this deal.
Yeah, no, and like it's so hard because like part of me, if I was Dreams, I probably would have did the same thing.
I would have too, 100%. But
it's so scummy, but it's like at the same time you have to do it. Like if you, part of me like wouldn't want to take the car just because like I know I'm not going to live up to this deal.
That's where I'm at in it.
I think I probably would have just told him no. I would not have taken the car.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm telling him,
sorry, it's a game. I can't promise you immunity at 4 if I get there. Like even if that scenario even does happen, like I can't as a man promise you that. It's like I'm not going to take the car.
That's what I'm doing. I mean, but it's harder to see from Dream's perspective because he was homeless before this season, and getting a nice new truck like that wasn't really a realistic option for him at the time. So I could see it from him, but I'm putting myself in his shoes. I'm not taking the car.
Yeah, no, neither am I. Because but also I don't know if Dreams ever actually thought about giving it up. Like me, the whole time, if I was Dreams and took the car, I'm like, yeah, you're never getting this necklace from me at Final Four.
Yeah. All right, so this is where it gets really interesting. So like, when they're on the reward immediately after making this deal, Dreams is like, let's get Yao Man out tonight, like, so I don't have to fall through on this.
He's like,
don't have to break my word.
I don't have to break my word if I vote him out before Final Four.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, it's basically knowing how Dreams played the whole season. You knew from a viewer's perspective that this is what was going to happen, that he immediately was going to target Yao Man that night just so he didn't have to not follow through on his word. And I mean, to be fair, it was the right move. It's just
Yao Man had an idol, and it's getting down to the last time to use it.
Yeah. See, to me though, here, why don't those 4 just vote Earl?
That would have been a smart move.
That would have been the smart move too.
But like we said earlier, at this point, Yao Man was like a clear, like bigger target than Earl.
Yeah, and
but like
I said, even even Boo, who was not a very good player, because of his challenge ability, is a target too. Like Earl is in such a good spot at Final 6 because he has 3 goats. He's got 3 goats left in the game, and then he has Yao Man, who's this huge target, and Boo, who is this huge immunity challenge beast, who are going to be targeted before him. He's in a perfect spot. Like if I'm on Survivor, I want to be in the same spot that he's in at this point in the game. One person who's a bigger target, one person who's better at challenges, who you can vote out, and then the rest just goes. So, all right, let's get more into this. So yeah, Dreams, like, he knows what Yao Man's like strategy behind this is, knows if he does win that final reward or final immunity challenge, he's going to give it up and they're going to vote him out right there. So, I mean,
now I would have felt bad if I was Yao Man late and he actually gave the immunity. I would have felt bad and probably not have voted him out.
Yeah, and Yao Man's beating any of these people anyway. So
Yeah. Because honestly, if I was Yao Man, I would have taken that necklace and voted Earl out.
yeah, for sure. All right, so yeah, Dreams is throwing out Yao Man's name at the reward, like when they're on the reward, and then we have the immunity challenge, which I think Boo wins again, second time in a row. So he was going to be the easy vote that night.
Yep, he was going home that night, and then when he wins, people just go with Dreams' plan to go for Yao Man.
All right, so then we have Earl, who does not want to get rid of Yao Man. And I think Earl also finds the idol.
Yes.
This episode.
So that's Yao Man sent himself to exile after he gave Dreams the reward.
Yeah.
So he got the clothes, and then he helped Earl find the idol.
Which was fair, I guess, because Earl helped him find the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're both chilling with idols that, do they expire this vote or the next one? So Earl doesn't play it now, but he plays it at 5 when he doesn't need to, just
because
there's no point of not playing it.
Yeah, no, I don't understand people who have idols and don't play them at the nights they expire.
All right, so
throwing shade.
So I guess they weren't. I guess Stacy, Dreams, Boo, and Cassandra weren't slick enough with this vote, with like keeping this a secret, because they gave Yao Man some bad vibes, like leading up to Tribal, which made him play the idol. Like with the idol still being able to be played at 5, I mean, it would have been. They could have possibly blindsided Yao Man here if they were really convincing that it was somebody else. But I think it was a lot harder because, like, it would have been easier to blindside Yao Man here if Boo did not win immunity. Like, say Dreams wins immunity here, and everyone thinks Boo's going home. Yao Man thinks Boo's going home. Boom, you flip the votes on Yao Man. Yao Man doesn't play his idol. But I think once Boo won immunity here, Yao Man knew he was probably going to be targeted, and Moon played the idol
100%.
But like, do you think if Earl was targeted instead, that he would have? Do you think Earl would have played his idol? Like if they had last minute flipped the votes on Earl?
No.
I
think Yao Man probably plays it on himself. They all vote for Earl, and both idols are out of the game.
Yeah.
Yao Man flushes his, and Earl gets voted out with his in his pocket.
Oh, could you just all right? Imagine if the final 3 of this season was Boo, Dreams, and Cassandra, or Stacy, Boo, and Dreams, or Boo,
Cassandra and Stacy.
Oh God, any combination of them, anyone without Earl or Yao Man in the finals would have been awful. Would have been
the one awful one would have been Dreams, Cassandra, Stacy.
Yeah,
because at least like I could probably stomach a Boo win if it's with those, but like,
who would have?
Thank God, Earl won.
So, do you think Boo beats Stacy and Cassandra?
I think he beats Cassandra.
Maybe Cassandra. I
think if he's in the same spot that Earl was in, he wins. Just because that jury hated Cassandra and Dreams.
Yeah. What if it's Cassandra, Dreams, and Stacy who wins? Cassandra, I think.
Yeah, I think Cassandra probably. Because I don't think Stacy was getting many votes, if any.
Same with Dreams. They hate the jury. Like I just watched.
Hated Dreams.
Yeah, I literally just watched the final triplet last night. Like they really fucking hated him. I mean, he played like a pretty like villainous game that I think would be a little bit more respected today, but it's just like he didn't really know what he was doing either.
No, he didn't.
He wasn't making decisions that really benefited him, and then it got to the point where he was just going to be taken to the end. I know he won the last challenge, but like he was going to go to the end as a goat and get 0 votes. All right. So now we're at the finale.
I also want to say that the way they read the votes was definitely interesting.
What, with the Yao Man vote?
Yeah, when they read like, oh, Stacy, Yao Man, Stacy, Yao Man. And like, oh, Stacy, one of these votes has to be for someone else. These both votes have to be someone other than Yao Man, or you're going home. And it's Yao Man. It's like, okay, oh, Stacy's going home. I'm like,
Yep.
That's definitely, I think, why now they read the votes differently when an idol's getting played.
Yeah, I like how they do it now more.
Where you read all the votes that don't count first.
Yeah. And then as soon as that happens, so say if they read all the votes for Yao Man first, and then they show the next Stacy vote, Stacy knows like all the remaining votes are probably coming on her. Which is, I mean, it's just a better way to present the reading of the votes. It's so funny too. I've had friends who like don't watch Survivor ask me, they're like, wait, why do all the votes come out like that? I'm like, he knows like the order he's reading the votes in. It's not just random the way he pulls it out of that. Like,
yeah, no, he does it on purpose. Because I remember on our season that we just finished last week from the Or Guy Wrong. So we had a tribal council where 2 idols got played, and we knew there was a super idol in play.
Yeah, I watched. I saw how you guys did it.
And so the way I was reading the votes the whole time, like, okay, because I was trying to getting like a little nervous, like if these idols weren't getting played, it was just the super idol. I'm like, how am I going to read these votes?
Yeah.
And then once the first 2 idols were played, I'm like, all right, this just got 10 times easier because I read the 5 votes that didn't count. 4 votes were going to be the guy who had the super idol. So I read 3 of them, like, oh, he's going home. He plays the super idol. The last vote for him gets canceled out, and then the 1 vote that's left.
Yeah. So did you think about doing the one Edward vote before the Triton vote? You did or no?
I thought about it, yeah.
Okay.
No, once all the idols got played, because like I don't put them in order before I read them. Like I just have them all in my library and like, all right, if anyone has an idol. And then Hart played his, so I'm like, all right, so I'll read these votes first. Then Cooper played his, I'll read these ones next. And then I was like, all right, now I can read the Triton votes and then the Edward vote.
Okay, yeah. I think you did it fine. All right.
Oh, their faces were priceless.
Yeah, I watched.
No one had any idea that one Edward vote, and so because they were all expecting that last vote was going to be Triton, and then once I'm like, oh, 12th person, all the faces like, that's definitely that was my favorite moment of both seasons I've hosted. That whole tribal council.
It was pretty awesome, crazy and epic, right?
Stop.
Oh, he still never responded to me either, so I guess I'm not playing. Oh well. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. I even messaged Hector too. I was like, yo, tell Orium to fucking respond to my message. And he's like, all right, I'll talk to him. And he still never answered me. I was like, whatever.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So
back to more important things.
Yeah. All right. So after this, we have Earl, who I guess he feels betrayed for the first time all game.
Well, because he got left out of his vote.
Finally, yeah. They left him out, but they were slick with it.
Mm-hmm.
And Earl thinks like these 3, I guess, are trying to get to the end without him. And Yao Man, like that's the final 3 in his eyes, I guess, is Cassandra, Dreams, and Boo.
And Bo.
Yeah. Thank God that didn't happen.
Well, actually, this is best case scenario for me. Yao Man winning this next immunity.
Yeah,
I love this challenge, by the way.
Yeah. What is it? A maze?
The blind maze.
The blind maze. Yeah.
It's like you have your little key. You have your little key thing around your neck. You have to put it into the holes to get the keys to unlock each drawbridge, and the first one to completely get out of the maze wins.
Yeah.
And Yao Man barely beats Dreams. And
yeah. And I mean, do you think so? Say Earl or Cassandra or Dreams win this challenge. Do you think Yao Man would have been voted out, or do you think?
I think Yao Man goes home.
I think so too. But him winning made it one day further for him, where he pretty much had to win the final 4 challenge, or he was going to be the last jury member. But this got him one place further, and
then how Boo knew he was going to be him next.
Yeah,
that Yao Man was safe, and so he goes to Yao Man and Earl. Is like, hey, let's vote out Dreams.
Yeah,
but I think Yao Man was Yao Man was still relying more on dreams to be like, oh, hey, I think I would have two chances to final immunity if I have dreams there, instead of seeing the bigger picture, like, hey, this dude's not going to give you immunity. You should vote him out.
Yeah. Did you, Boo said that to him, right? He said to Yao Man that dreams isn't going to follow through with this. Yeah. And he was right. But I mean, you got to look at it from Yao Man's perspective, though. He had to at least know there's a chance Dreams is going to give up the necklace. So voting out Dreams there would have been very stupid for Yao Man. And Boo was clearly his biggest challenge threat. I mean, that's what I think, at least. Boo, like you said, Yao Man would have went here, but Boo was the obvious one to go next when Yao Man won immunity. All right. So Boo goes home, and then we are at the final four, where the final immunity challenge is. I love this one.
Oh,
they're on their backs, and they got like the water. Isn't there water coming out? Like,
yeah, there's a spout above them that's just shooting water out the entire challenge. They have to hold this rope above their head, and they're lying on their back, and they keep this like straightening them out until it gets too bad.
Yeah, I like it a lot. But anyways, of course, Dreams ends up winning and gives the viewers what they want to see. Like, what is Dreams gonna do? Is he gonna see? I always knew, even as a 12-year-old watching this show, I knew he wasn't gonna keep his word. I knew it. As soon as he targeted him that night and said, like, so I don't have to go back.
He's never giving up this immunity necklace.
Never giving it up. And I think even Yao Man knew there was a small chance, but he probably wasn't going to give it up.
Yeah.
All right. So, but you do see Dreams at Tribal, like, he's
conflicted.
Basically, yeah, he looks like this is tough for him, but he knows
he's not giving it up.
If he gives it up, they're probably just going to vote him out. So,
which,
I mean,
to me, also would have been a mistake if I was Yao Man.
What if they voted out Dreams if he gave it up?
Yeah, I would have voted out Earl.
Oh, well, yeah. Me too.
But yeah, I know, but no, they 100% were voting Dreams out, and I think it would have been a more competitive final tribal between Earl and Yao Man.
Oh, it would have been a great final tribal, I think, if we had,
instead of the final tribal we got, which is basically Earl walking the red carpet.
Earl, a pile of crap and a pile of crap, basically. But yeah. So what do you let's revisit this. This is like the one of the things I really wanted to talk about, like, coming into this. Who do you think wins, Yao and Earl Man? Say it was Yao, Earl Man. Yao Man
or Earl?
Yeah, I called him Earl Man. Yeah. Yao Man,
God,
Earl,
that's tough.
And either one of the other two sitting there.
Well, either one of the other two get no votes, so.
Yeah. I think Yao Man wins.
I think Yao Man wins too, because Yao Man was a lot more flashier.
Yeah, and
I think probably 6-3 between Yao Man gets 6, Earl gets 3.
Yeah. I think Yao Man's beating everyone in that game, but it's just, but I will say, I said it earlier, and I do think Earl is a better player, because if Yao Man was a better player than Earl, he wouldn't have made himself like
so big of a target
at such an early point, where like it was like final 7 on, you could see that Yao Man was probably going to win the game if he got to the end. And Earl had, like, a great player has someone there that's a bigger threat than them. That's why, like, I think Adam Klein's game is underrated, because some people say he hid behind David and stuff, but I think, like, Adam knew exactly what he was doing, and that David was going to be the bigger threat than him before the end.
Yeah, but when Adam tries to vote David out at 5,
yeah,
and like if he succeeds, unless Adam wins that final immunity, which he doesn't, Adam goes home at 4.
Yeah, that's true.
So like I think he definitely got lucky that Hannah flipped and voted Brett out.
Yeah, Adam definitely made some mistakes, but
yeah,
he did have David there.
When we get to Millennials Gen X, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Also, when we get to Winners at War, because I hated Adam there.
I liked him, but that's just me.
Awful.
All right, but yeah. So you think this? So we say Yao Man wins that final 3 with Earl.
Yeah, I think
both
Yao Man wins.
All right, but instead we'll talk about this crappy final tribal that we did get.
The only question going into this final tribal was, is Earl winning unanimously or not? Because you knew he was going to win.
See, and I always thought he was. I didn't think Cassandra or Dreams had a chance of getting votes. I really didn't.
The only thing I figured was, I know Yao Man's like not a bitter person, but like you could tell he was upset that Earl voted him out.
Yeah.
But then Earl explained, he was like, dude, you were winning if you sat here. I'm sorry. And he was like,
yeah.
That's the thing I loved about Earl. The other two are trying to like defend themselves and be like, oh, this is why I did this. Earl's just like, yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
Here's why.
That's why you have to own your game at Final Tribal instead of just making.
Who was it? It was Moki. It was Moki during his speech. He was like, stop lying. If you're lying now, you have to own what you did.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, they roasted Dreams just for being totally deceptive. Like basically the whole game. He played a deceitful game.
Yeah.
Not much honesty there. And then Cassandra was just, I think she's just a coattail rider, really.
She definitely rode Earl the whole way.
Yeah. She wasn't very deserving to be there.
No, she was there because she was getting no votes.
Yeah. And like she did get targeted that one tribal where Edgardo went home. But besides that, after that, she was never in any danger. Like,
yeah, she was in the clear.
No one was gonna write her name down. Like, she was never even like even Dreams' name came up at some point, but like her name was never coming. And yeah, we get an uneventful final tribal, which is I mean, in our 4 seasons so far, the best one we had was Thailand, which is also, I thought, still the worst season. I don't know how Clay got 3 votes, but common theme among these 4 seasons is that there was a dominant winner and a weaker cast. But this cast is
stronger than the first 3, but it still wasn't that good.
It still wasn't that good, but it was clearly stronger.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Where do you have Earl in your winners out of the first 4?
Out of the first 4,
I want to see if you have him in the same spot I do.
Probably do. Second.
Yeah, I have him second too. He's below Kim, but he's higher than Rob and Brian.
Yeah. Okay. I'm with you. And I'm someone we'll find out when we get to All Stars. I'm higher on Rob's runner-up performance than I am his win. So
yeah, me too.
Rob's not as high on my winner rankings as some people probably.
It was just so easy for him.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're in agreement that it's Kim,
Earl, Rob, Brian.
Yeah. And that's I still think even Brian, who we have 4th here, I think he's still an above average winner. Like, like we're going to see the next 3 weeks. I'll tell you, our next winner is going to be below all of them for sure.
Hands down.
And it's not even close. Like,
yeah.
We
won't say what the season is, but
yeah.
But there's definitely a lot we could say because these are 4 pretty good winners.
Yeah. I'll say our next 3 seasons might not be as predictable, but they don't have as good of a winner as any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, at all. And did this change? Like we said earlier, this was definitely your favorite one you've watched so far, right?
Out of these ones, yeah.
Out of these seasons?
Mm-hmm.
So you would go, your ranking out of them is, this is the best one, then One World,
then Thailand, then Redemption Islands.
All right, so mine is Fiji, One World, Redemption Island, then Thailand. Thailand's last. So we're a little off on that, but
But I also said Fiji higher than 2 seasons we haven't gotten to yet. So
yeah, so I don't have it higher than any seasons we haven't gotten to, but I think it's going to move up. Like this next one, I'm almost certain I'm going to have Fiji higher than. I don't know. We'll see though, because I was a little like I've been a little surprised so far. Like Thailand was even worse than I remembered.
Yeah,
And
that was bad.
One World and this Redemption Island was about as bad as I remember it. And then this was much better than I remembered it. And One World was a little bit better than I remember it. So I've definitely watching it from a like perspective when you're about to like talk about all these seasons is like you're seeing it in a different way. So I think I could see this next season differently than I think I'm going to, but I'm pretty sure I will have Fiji ahead of maybe even our next 2 seasons. I won't have it against the one ahead of the one after that, but maybe there could be a handful I have this ahead of that we haven't talked about yet, but we'll see when we get there. So I think we've talked about this on the last few. Who was your favorite pre-merge boot this season? I don't know if we're including.
I liked Anthony, even though he was a little bit whiny at times. Like he was still, out of all the pre-merge people, he was my favorite.
Yeah, I will say though, this wasn't a season like where I guess with Thailand, with Rob and Xian were 2 of the better characters went pre-merge. Most of the good characters
got merge.
Yeah, or got jury at least. Yeah, they like most. Yeah, we got what we wanted out of a lot of these people. I think Michelle was by far the most robbed player. No, I wouldn't say anyone else was really robbed. I think they all pretty much got voted out where they deserved to get voted out for the most part. But yeah, MVP of the season, Yao Man, obviously, because we don't do winners.
Yeah, MVPs we don't consider winners.
Yeah, Yao Man is the clear MVP. Who'd we say MVPs for the other ones? We said Helen, Sabrina, I think was for One World.
Yeah, and I have no idea for Redemption Island.
I think it was, and I would say
Andrea.
We're gonna go back and
I don't know. That was just so bad.
Yeah. All right, but yeah, so I actually enjoyed this one. I really did. I think that Fiji, like you said, it's not a great season, but there's more redeeming qualities than the other 3 that we watched, for sure. And there's more strategy too. There's a little bit more shifts and turns. Like some of it's predictable, but
yeah, you have points where it's a little like, ooh, that I didn't see that coming.
Yeah. And I don't think like we haven't seen anyone besides Yao Man come back from this season. And
yeah, we're not going to see any. The only last chance we had was Earl for Winners at War, but he turned it down.
Yeah. So you don't see anyone ever coming back from this season? I don't know.
I think the only person they've ever tried getting back was Earl.
Yeah.
And they tried multiple times to get him back. And he was going to be on Winners at War, but he turned it down.
Yeah. So I listened to a podcast with him on it, I think around or during Winners at War with Rob. And he said that every time he's been asked back to play Survivor, it's just horrible, like personal timing for him. Like he either
I know his wife was pregnant with his new baby during Winners at War, so he couldn't leave.
I think he got asked for Heroes Villains too, I want to say. Yeah,
I know he was asked multiple times to come back.
I think it was Heroes, Villains, Game Changers, and
What is it? War.
I don't know if they ever asked Yao Man to come back after Micronesia.
Heroes versus Villains. They asked him back. And he said he was done.
Okay. Yeah, he would have been. I wonder who he would have played instead of. What hero would they have taken out for him? I don't even know. Those are 5 good male heroes. Rupert, Colby, Tom, JT. Who's the 5th one?
James. Maybe James. Yeah. No, I didn't think so.
Yeah, I think they nailed that cast was nailed so perfectly that like the only 2 I would argue maybe shouldn't have been there were Randy and Sugar.
Yeah.
And then Stephanie being a hero is kind of like I think she's more of a villain, but
they lean more on her time on Palau than her time on Guatemala.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
Just
So
like Candace should not have been a hero either.
Oh, and I forgot about Candace. She shouldn't have been on that season at all.
But we digress. We'll get to heroes versus villains
much later. But yeah, all right. So we've got this pretty much down. Do you want to talk about the draft at all?
Yeah, we'll talk about that for a little bit.
All right. So Giants traded back. How do you feel about that?
Loved it.
You like the pick too?
Now I do. Last night, I remember I definitely was not a fan of it because I didn't. Just to be honest, I had no idea who Kadarius Toney was.
Yeah, I know who. I'm not like the biggest college football fan, but I follow the draft pretty in depth, and I watched some Florida games last year because of Kyle Pitts, and I knew Kyle Trask was a decent QB prospect who probably get drafted. It's like second, third round.
I'll say he's probably getting drafted tonight.
Kadarius Toney was pretty impressive too, though. Like Kyle Trask really isn't that good. He was literally made Toney and Pitts made him look good. Yeah. So yeah, I think it was a good move for the Giants. I mean,
I love picking up that first round pick though from the Bears.
Yeah.
Because I don't see the Bears being very good next year.
No. And especially if they're going to ride with a rookie QB, like there's no way they're going to be that good.
No. I can see them winning 4 games, and that's going to be a top 10 pick. Like I'll put that call right now. That's going to be a top 10 pick that we're getting.
I think so too. And you guys might be in the top 10 also, so maybe you'll have 2 top 10 picks.
Don't say that. Try to make the playoffs next year.
Yeah. Oh, the Jets aren't making the playoffs next year, so.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Giants.
No, the Giants could. The Jets won't, is what I'm saying.
But the Giants division is also so awful. It's like,
yeah,
there's no good team in that division. Like, our offense could be great, and like our defense is okay. Like, I could see us going 9-8.
Yeah, I forgot it's 17 games. I'd be happy if the Jets go 7-10. I want to see more from Wilson in year 1 than we saw from Darnold in any of the
3 years.
And I think he could do it with the new coaching staff, with Salah.
And you guys also, after you took Zach Wilson, you traded up for an alignment.
Oh yeah, and I was surprised about that. I thought we were staying.
That was a really good move.
Or later pick, but we basically got the best guard in the draft at 14 overall, and our offensive line is still hurting. We've got the second pick in the second round tonight, and
use that on alignment too. Like the only good lineman you have is Becton.
Yeah, and we're not taking. I don't think we'll take a receiver. Their receivers aren't great, but we did sign Corey Davis. We signed Keelan Cole. Denzel Mims should get better. Jamison Crowder, I will stand by it, is a very underrated receiver. We don't have a tight end at all. That's a complete black hole for any Jets ever. I would take him, even though he's
a black hole by himself.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a Pro Bowler though, right?
Oh God. How?
I remember when we talked about that, you were like, how the fuck did this guy make the Pro Bowl?
I literally rattled off like 5 tight ends that should have made it before him.
Yeah,
it's like Tanyan from the Packers, even Dalton Schultz of the Cowboys. Like, there's other tight ends that should have made it before him.
I don't know how Tanyan didn't make it. He had like 12 touchdowns last year.
Yeah, who was the other tight end that made the
from the NFC?
Yeah,
it wasn't. Was Kittle hurt? It wasn't Kittle.
It wasn't Kittle.
I'm trying to think.
I'm totally blanking. This is so bad.
It's gonna bother me. I'm gonna look it up. Pro Bowl tight ends.
Oh, TJ Hawkinson from the Lions.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Also, the Lions got a steal yesterday too.
Oh yeah. Penny Sewell was like generational offensive tackle. They're saying, and he slips to 7th overall. I also think the Bengals are stupid.
They're idiots.
They saw what just happened to Burrow. I mean,
the last time they saw Burrow, he was getting his ACL torn because their line is awful.
Yeah.
They had the chance to take this excellent lineman that probably should not have fell to them at 5. And instead they take Jamar Chase.
Yeah, like if this wasn't such a QB heavy draft, and like all of them really are now, like the top 3 picks were literally QBs. You can make the argument Sewell goes 2nd or 3rd overall in a normal draft.
I think if the Niners don't trade up with the Dolphins, I think Sewell goes 3rd.
Yeah. I could see
to
it.
Miami. Or if you guys held on to Darnold, you guys could have taken him.
Yeah, for sure. I think if we held on to Darnold, we were absolutely trading back because you saw what San Fran gave up to trade
San
up
Fran
to
gave 2 first-round picks for a quarterback who probably could have been there at 12.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a little angry that Mac Jones went to the Patriots because just watch him be good now.
I told you last night he's winning a Super Bowl.
He's going to. Belichick is there forever now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think who else had pretty solid picks.
I was upset the Dolphins took Jalen Waddle when they did because I wanted Waddle.
Yeah. He was early, though. I was surprised he went before Devontae Smith.
Well, because I think it was more because Tua and Waddle had that connection. I think they're relying more on Waddle's speed to translate better.
I'm so out on Tua. I think he's garbage, honestly. He's not.
No, the Dolphins have to believe in him.
Yeah, they have to. They would have looked bad giving up on him after just 1 year, but
yeah, just look how the Cardinals retreated after they gave up on Josh Rosen.
Yeah, for sure. I think that I don't know. Zach, I'm very on the fence about Zach Wilson, but I have to be all in.
You have to believe in him.
I have to. And
you're in the same spot the Dolphins are with Tua. You have to believe in him.
I mean, I think where the Bears got Justin Fields, that could be huge. Like, I did not expect that. Like, basically all the other QBs went where I expected them to go, but I was not expecting. I thought someone else would end up with Fields, not the Bears.
Yeah, I think once the Bears saw Fields like keep sliding, they're like, all right, we can make our move to get him right now.
Yeah, and I think they're overthinking it with Fields too. I think Fields could be good. He could easily be the second best QB in this draft.
He was the second best QB in the draft until like what, February?
Yeah, and like
started slobbering over Zach Wilson.
Yeah, he was a known commodity even in like high school. Like I think him and Lawrence and their high school class were the two highest recruits that year. Like he's been a pro prospect.
How awful will it look for you guys if Justin Fields is a Pro Bowl and Zach Wilson flames out in 2 years?
Horrible. Or if any of them really.
To me, like Justin Fields was always the clear number 2. So like,
yeah,
if I was the Jets, I would have taken Justin Fields second overall.
Yeah, well,
so like if Zach Wilson's awful and Justin Fields is great in Chicago,
yeah, he's going to get compared to Fields and he's going to get compared to Lawrence, obviously, and
Jones, and Trevor Lawrence. But I think Trevor Lawrence is way better than all of them.
Oh well, yeah, I don't think that's a secret. I think, I mean, the Jets screwed that up so bad. It was Adam Gase's last gift to the organization, his last fuck you, basically.
Do you follow Evil Dick on Twitter?
Yeah, he's a Jets fan.
Yeah, and I love how much he shits on Adam Gase.
Oh yeah, rightfully so. I was surprised when I found out he was a Jets fan too. Actually, I was like, I don't think he's even from New York, or
I think his parents are from New York.
Yeah, he maybe it's just like me. He just has the New York connection, but I think he's from like Florida or something. Or
he lives in Florida. He's a Jets and LA Kings fan.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't understand that.
Neither do I, but
yeah. So the Yankees have been playing a little better though. They lost yesterday, but would they go two? They split with the Orioles, right?
Fucking Matt Harvey.
I wouldn't say that's playing. You got to take 3 or 4 from the Orioles if you're playing a 4-game series. We just got swept by the Red Sox, 2-game series.
You scored a combined 1 run.
Oh my god,
1 run. My uncle, who's a Mets fan, me and my uncle went to the game on Tuesday because he's a big Met fan.
Yeah.
And then yesterday I was like, oh, watch, DeGrom's going to go 7 innings, 1 run, and he's going to lose.
Oh,
I almost nailed it on the head.
Yeah,
he went 6 innings though.
Yeah, I've been playing some MLB The Show, and I've been leaving runners on base all the time. I'm like, fucking Jacob.
He gave Jacob DeGrom the same treatment. He had DeGrom go 8 innings, 1 run, and lost.
Yeah. God. Yeah,
that poor man has a 0.51 ERA and is 2-2.
Yeah. And it's not like this is new either. This has been happening since
2018.
I would say since 2014. Like,
yeah,
it
but
just
like
didn't
this
get talked
2018
about.
was like really when he became like the
He
best pitcher in
really took
baseball.
off. Yeah.
And his
But
record's like 27 and 23, I think, since then.
yeah,
And his
the
ERA
other
is below 1 or below 2.
yeah, the other thing is like if you look at team I'm big into team stats. Like I look at team batting average a lot and then home runs, runs scored. So the Mets for team batting average, I think before the other day, we were like 8th in the major league somehow in team average. I'm like, so it seems like nobody around the league offense is just down right now. I mean, a lot of it's cold weather in April, I guess, especially if you're in the Northeast or the Midwest. But uh, yeah, I mean, the averages around the league are down, but like the Mets still relative to like where our average is compared to like the other averages below us, those teams are still scoring more runs than we are because we just leave everyone on base. Don't hit home runs this year. Like I don't know what's happening. Like Lindor and Conforto each have
Lindor's
one.
awful this year.
I'm not talking shit about him yet. I think it's sad that people are booing him already.
I was at the game on Tuesday when they booed
Did
him.
you hear boos?
When he
Yeah.
grounded out in the 8th inning, it was just filled with boos. I was like, oh, I did not expect this. I'm used to this with Yankee fans because I was at
Phillies fan.
I was at Giancarlo Stanton's home opener in 2018
Yeah.
when he went 0 for 5 and 5 strikeouts. They were booing him after the third one. And I'm
that
like,
was his
dude,
first
guys,
game?
come on. It was first home game as a Yankee.
Oh my God. I could see booing him after all the injuries and like now, like I could see it.
The
like
first game.
Yeah, that's kind of low.
And I was like, dude, come on. And then he struck out the 4th time and it got louder. Then he struck out the 5th time and it got louder again. I'm like, come, leave the man alone.
Yeah. I mean, Mets offense has got to get better though. I don't think all these guys who have proven track records like McNeil, Lindor, Conforto, even Dom Smith, who's really been struggling the last few weeks. I don't think any of them are. They have to hit better. Like, there's no way.
To be fair, does Dom Smith really have like that much of a track record? Because like to me, him and Alonso, I both see as kind of like.
So
they had a flash in the pan, and that was about it.
So Smith, 2019, he didn't really get regular playing time until the second half of the year, and once he started to get regular playing time, he hit. And then last year
he was great.
Him and Conforto were our best hitters. They're both good, but
I'm also more talking about Alonso, who
sample size.
Yeah, Alonso in his first season was great, and last season he was terrible.
Yeah, he was, but like if you look at the pace and stuff, he still was on pace to hit like close to 50 home runs.
Yeah, but he was also on pace for a 220 batting average.
Yeah, and a fuck ton of strikeouts. But I'm not totally worried about Alonso. I'm more worried about the other guy. Like Conforto scares me the most because he is so freaking streaky.
Mm-hmm. I think he's also upset he didn't get a contract and now is trying to play to get a contract and he's not playing well.
Yeah, like Lindor got this huge deal and Conforto probably could have paid him half of that money and he would have happily accepted it, and they still haven't done that. But like, it's if he has a bad year, see ya. I mean, I don't want to sign him if he has a bad year.
I think y'all give him a qualifying offer.
What'd you say?
I think y'all give him a qualifying offer if he's not that good this year.
So that'll happen. Yeah, he'll probably take it and then bank on a comeback year next year. Kind of like what Stroman did, but
it's paying off for Stroman so far.
Yeah, his last start was bad, but he's been really solid in 3 of the 4 starts.
He's been your clear number 2 after DeGrom. And just wait till he gets Syndergaard back.
Yeah, and Carrasco too. I mean,
I forgot about Carrasco.
Rotation could look scary good then, because Taijuan Walker was a good signing. He's a solid pitcher.
Mm-hmm. Now you just need to learn how to hit.
That's really what it is. And
you can have all this great pitching. If you don't score runs, you're not winning anything.
Exactly. We can't we scored a combined 1 run in 2 games against Garrett
Richards and Nick Pivetta.
And that awful Red Sox bullpen. Awful. I don't know. Are you concerned about the Yankees or not yet?
Yes, I'm very concerned.
You're concerned now?
They look terrible.
A few weeks ago, you said talk to me in June.
Yeah, they just got worse.
All right. So what worries you the most?
The fact that our best hitter had to take the last 2 days off because of travel-related soreness.
Was it LeMahieu or
Judge.
Judge. Wow. It's a very typical Judge injury.
Like, but like him and LeMahieu are our two best players.
Yeah.
Like they need to be in the lineup every day.
Yeah.
We have our outfield with Judge hurt. The outfield yesterday was Clint Frazier, Aaron Hicks, and Brett Gardner, who are hitting a combined 160. Aaron Hicks was awful.
Gardner
we traded Mike Talkman when we shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I would have kept him over Gardner.
Dude, what's going on with Gleibeer too?
My God, it's so bad.
I don't see, like 2 years ago, I was like, this guy is a superstar, like in the making. I know he's still young, but I don't know what happened.
I think they're screwing with him the same way they screwed with Gary Sanchez.
Yeah.
They're trying to make him focus on the defense, and then he's losing his bat.
Yeah.
Also, they need to get rid of Gary Sanchez. This is pathetic.
Gary's finished, and
they broke him. They should have just moved on after last season.
Yeah, he's done as the starting catcher.
It's Higashioka's the starter now.
Yeah,
and I'm totally happy with it. Kid's hitting over 300 with like 4 home runs.
Mm-hmm.
Gary's hitting 150.
How do you feel about the rotation? Shaky.
Besides Cole, I don't see anything. Like Kluber was good the other night.
Yeah.
Montgomery, I trust the most out of the rest of them.
Taillon is always hurt.
Taillon has been that good this year.
And he could be damaged goods.
Cole, Taillon, Kluber, Montgomery. I'm missing someone.
Oh, the wife beater.
Oh, fuck him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tweeted the other day because he went for 7 shutouts the other day. I'm like, yeah, I said I don't care. He's still a piece of shit.
Still should be off the team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What about the Knicks? So new win streak is intact.
Yep. I feel pretty good that we're getting that 4 seed.
Or 4 or 5. I'm fine with it. I want to play. I think we have the best chance of beating.
I want Brooklyn in the second round.
So do I. But I want Atlanta first round.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, my friends are saying I'm crazy for wanting Brooklyn second round. I'm like, look, we're probably not going to beat them anyways. Like,
I'd rather Brooklyn second round than Milwaukee first round.
Yeah. Or I don't know. Would you rather it's not about who you want to play. Like, I know you want Brooklyn. Better chance of beating.
I think we have a better chance of beating Philly, to be honest. Like, there was so many games this year we could have beaten. Well, could have beaten both of them, but
yeah,
I feel like we match up better against Philly.
We do, because I just think that with especially the Nets, if they're going to have all 3 of them in the lineup in playoff games.
I don't think they will.
You don't think they will?
I don't know when Harden's coming back. If he comes back for the playoffs. I'm expecting Durant to get hurt again.
Oh, I think Durant very well could get hurt again, but I think Harden will be back.
And then Kyrie Irving will take a day off whenever he feels like it.
Yeah, screw Kyrie. I will say though, he is absolutely killing it this year when he has played. Like this might be one of his best seasons he's had, especially in terms of like efficiency. But my point is, I think they have a better chance of beating Philly because the Nets have those closers, like they have that Kyrie or Durant or Harden, even if only 2 of them
don't have,
that can hit the last shot for you and win. The Sixers have their best player is a big man who they're going to have to force feed the ball inside too. Besides that, no one's going to hit a game-winning shot on that team.
This is why I actually do like the way the Knicks have done this year, because even though Randall's like our number 1 star, best player we have, RJ Barrett's a closer.
Yeah. And I mean, even like Burks and Bullock have hit big shots too. Like you have shooters.
But like, how many of those games during the winning streak, RJ Barrett was scoring double-digit points in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
He did it with Toronto. He did it with Dallas. I think New Orleans he did it with too.
He did it recently. Where he's had some games where he had has a bad first half and then kills the.
But he lights it up in the fourth quarter. He'll end the game with like 22 points, and like 12 of them were in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And to me, like that's when it counts. Like when the game's close, can you hit the shots? And he does.
Yeah, literally. Like, I know the Knicks aren't a championship team or anything, but they're finally a good team. And I think the only thing missing from them being an even better team is a great starting point guard. Yeah. Like Peyton's just not it.
He's so bad. He's the worst point guard we have. And he's still starting. Like I'd rather have Derrick Rose starting.
Yeah. I see Rose is getting the starters minutes though. And then quickly is very inconsistent. So his playing time is going to fluctuate based on the matchup, I think. Because
I like quickly in his role off the bench. I think Derrick Rose should be starting.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially come playoff time. Like I don't want Peyton on the court at all. And I think part of me thinks when Alec Burks comes back, like I think it's definitely gonna take. I think Thibodeau might try to tinker like taking Peyton out of the lineup.
Yeah, and
because they could put Derrick Rose as the starter and have Quickly and Burks as the backup guards off the bench.
Yeah, or really, like I know this could sound crazy, but Barrett and Randall could even play point guard if you need them to. Like they've handled the ball plenty. Like
yeah, but I like having guards on the floor. I like having actual like guards on the floor.
Of course, yeah.
That could work if you have Quickly starting. Like having Barrett and Randall run the point.
Yeah.
But the two of them run point a lot.
Peyton just is a waste of space, I think.
Yeah. So
he'll have a good take occasionally to the basket. Plays okay defense.
And then I'll turn it over like three times.
Yeah.
Or take stupid shots.
Yeah, he can't shoot. He really can't. And I can't believe like how well Nerlens Noel has played his role this year. He's been fantastic. Like as soon as Robinson went down, I thought we were screwed. But I mean, Noel's been, minus a little bit less scoring. I think he's been better than Robinson had been. He doesn't foul like Robinson does.
Yeah, no, I love Nerlens Noel.
Yeah. I still like Rob.
He's gonna get paid in the offseason.
I hope that Robinson has learned something from Noel too, because like he's got so much potential. He's just not super polished, or he's kind of raw still. That just the fact that he fouls so much is just, it hampers him. He got in foul trouble in so many freaking games, like just right away, 2 quick dumb fouls because he tries to block everything. You just got to realize you don't have to try to block everything.
Yeah, no. And Nerlens Noel knows what to do.
Yeah, and he knows he doesn't need to score either.
Oh, he's totally fine being like, oh, I'll score my 5 points a night. Like the other night when we played Chicago, he had like I think 8 points. He had 3 steals and 4 blocks.
Yeah. How do you feel about Taj Gibson? I think he's given him solid minutes too.
Yeah, he's been great.
And
someone else who's gotten better, Obi Toppin.
I was just gonna say Obi's looked a lot better recently. I mean, at the beginning of the year, I kept saying like, stop shooting threes. Why is this guy shooting threes? But now he's starting to make some of them, and he's playing with a little more confidence. And I think he still has a future with the team. I mean, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I felt bad like because my thought was when they drafted him, he's going to be the starting power forward at some point this season when they traded Julius Randle. But also not knowing that Julius Randle was going to turn into an all-NBA caliber player.
Or that the Knicks were going to be in the playoff race.
Yeah. Because I think if the Knicks had their own like crystal ball and they could see that Julius Randle was going to be doing this, they would have drafted probably Halliburton.
Yeah, for sure. Also, I think it's crazy that I would say the Kevin Knox is finished with the Knicks. Like he's never going to have a role there again.
Could have had Mikal Bridges.
Yeah. You're telling me, a Villanova fan, I wanted him so bad. I literally was saying finally too, like we're finally going to have a Villanova guy on the Knicks, and then they go and draft Kevin Knox. And to be fair though, at the time I was like, Knox has a lot of upside. Bridges is a safer pick, but who probably fits the team better, but Knox has more upside, and Knox has just not gotten like in that summer league when he first came in. Do you remember that? He looked good.
He was good.
And I was like, he wasn't efficient or anything, but I'm like, this guy can score from everywhere on the floor. Like I like his potential, but then he's just hasn't
It
gotten
just never
better.
translated.
No, he hasn't gotten
His
better at
defense is
all.
terrible.
He's slow.
He can't hit threes.
Very inconsistent shooting, finishing. Yeah, he's just not going to play. I don't think he's going to play much.
Yeah, no, he's
I
not
just
playing.
can't believe like these like guys who never thought we'd get much from, like Bullock and Noel, like contributing, and Burks. I know he's been hurt a lot, but I think that's the difference between a Tibbs team and like a Fizdale team where like
don't even say Fizdale.
I can't believe so many people defended like it wasn't fair that the Knicks fired him and all this bullshit. Like, do you remember that?
Yeah, a gutted, rudderless roster, they called it after the Fizdale got fired. And Thibodeau's basically doing it with the same people.
Yeah. I mean, it's
he has
crazy.
his team where the season ends today. They have home court advantage in the first round.
Yeah. I think it's ridiculous that people think Fizdale shouldn't have been fired.
Mm-hmm. Well, now they have no defense for it.
Oh, not
it's
at
like,
all.
Okay, yeah, he totally deserved it.
And he's never getting a job again.
Never.
My brother always said, it's funny, it's true too. He's like, Fizdale literally only ever got a head coaching job because he was an assistant coach for LeBron James, and LeBron liked him and put in good words for him or like the Grizzlies when they hired him, and then the Knicks liked him. Like everyone remembers he was an assistant coach on the Heat when LeBron was there, and that's why people liked him. It's just stupid. It's just like Peyton Manning shoved Adam Gase down the Jets' throats by saying, like, you guys have to hire this guy.
Calls Christopher Johnson, hey, you should hire Adam Gase.
Yeah.
We have to hire Adam Gase. Peyton Manning called me.
That's literally what it was. Just nonsense. But yeah.
So funny.
The Knicks are, I mean,
the Knicks are
it's
back.
crazy to say I think they could win a playoff series.
Mm-hmm. If we play Atlanta, I think we could beat them.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable playing Boston.
It'll be tough.
I think we could beat Boston, though. I think Atlanta would be the easier beat.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they've got a solid young roster, but they don't scare me. Like, Boston
makes me nervous because they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 of the last 3 years.
Yeah, and I think Boston would be embarrassed to lose to the Knicks. I don't think Atlanta
will just be happy being there.
Atlanta's like the Knicks. They're kind of an upstart team. They're like just getting there. So it's like if they lose to the Knicks, it's not an embarrassment. Like some of these teams do not want to lose to the Knicks. Like,
oh my God. Could you just picture it now? It's never going to happen. Picture it now. The Knicks upset the Nets in 7 games and go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh God.
There'd be parades in the street.
Oh yeah.
Outside the Garden.
Yeah,
if the Knicks and the Nets play each other in the playoffs, the Barclays Center is going to be loaded with Knicks fans.
Oh yeah, and I'll tell all the Nets fans that they're not welcome back on the bandwagon ever again. If you ever started supporting the Nets, you're not welcome back for the Knicks. Like some of I don't know, like my grandfather died a few years before they moved back to Brooklyn, but like he's born and raised in Brooklyn, and my dad swears like if the Nets had moved back there when he was still alive, that he would have started rooting for the Nets just because it's Brooklyn. And I'm like, I wouldn't have done it. Not a big fan of turning on your team.
Yeah, no, I don't turn on my team.
Yeah, like so I don't think I ever explained this story to you, but this is how it goes. So around here, like almost everyone's an Orioles fan, like because I live closer to Baltimore than DC. But until I was 12, when I lived in Northern Virginia, I lived closer to DC than Baltimore. And when I was in 4th grade, the Nationals moved to DC, and a bunch of people like just stopped rooting for the Orioles and started rooting for the Nationals. Like Northern Virginia was like loaded with Orioles fans, and now it's like all Nationals fans except for the true baseball fans who stuck with the Orioles. Like some of my friends like one of my good friends is all DC. Like he likes the the Washington football team, the Capitals, and the Wizards. But he likes the Orioles because he's like, I wasn't just gonna change my team when the Nationals came around. Like that's lame. And I kind of think it's sweet. That's one reason I hate the Nationals, because their fans are so phony. They did not come out of. They were in their shells until they got Steven Strasburg and Bryce Harper, and then they started actually watching the team and claiming they've always been like, oh, we watched them when they were in last place for 5 years. It's like, no, you didn't. You like the Orioles, and they were in last place too. So you made the switch because you guys got Bryce Harper and
Steven Strasburg.
Yeah, it was
and
like.
Then you signed Max Scherzer.
Yeah, and then they started spending. Nationals actually have money. Like the Orioles are a cheap fucking franchise too. So like,
the Nationals owner he wanted to win a World Series before he died because he's an old dude.
Yeah,
and he got his wish. They won one.
Yeah, I'm still mad about that.
Waited until after Bryce Harper left, but
yeah, that was pretty sweet though that he didn't get a ring from that. I also wish he would have just ditched the division, but
if he went to like the Dodgers or something.
Oh well, that would have been worse probably. But
the Dodgers offered him like a 2-year, $90 million contract. I remember.
2 year, you said?
2 years, $90 million.
So like what they did with Bauer, basically.
Yeah, basically. They didn't want the money tied up in the future, but they wanted
him at all this year.
Sorry,
Bauer. Have you kept up with him at all? Like his and Tatis's antics, like.
I love Fernando Tatis.
Yeah, I like Bauer too. Like he can be a douchebag, but
what he did to the Mets was pretty scummy.
Brings some excitement to the game at least. Yeah, I still wanted us to sign him. I mean, would have been nice, but we're also paying Taijuan Walker like 1/4 of the money, and he's got like the same career ERA. So, I mean, it is what it is. That wasn't the end of the world. The Mets bats just need to wake up.
Yeah. And they still need to wake up.
Yeah. We're playing the Phillies for the third time this weekend. So
we got the Detroit Tigers this weekend.
Oh, God. Orioles and Tigers.
If we lose 2 out of 3 to the Tigers, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, I would. That's when I would start to be worried. They got to take this series.
Because then we have a day off, and then we host the Astros for 3 games.
Are you guys home?
Yeah, we're home for the Tigers. Home for the Tigers, home for the Astros, then home for the Nationals, I think.
When the Mets don't play the Yankees soon, I don't think. Because we play the Orioles coming up.
Like I know the series at Citi Fields in September.
Yeah, I thought so. You said you were going with that, right? Probably.
Yeah, me and my uncle, the 9/11 game, me and my uncle are going to.
Yeah, we play
July 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Okay. The Mets come to the stadium.
Yeah, because we just played Boston. We played Baltimore in about a week and a half, and then we played Tampa. And then we play Baltimore again in June, and then we don't have any interleague games until we play you guys in July.
Yeah, we have the Nationals next weekend. Then we have 2 games against the Phillies in June.
Wait, is that game in DC, the Nationals one?
No, that's home too.
I was gonna say if it was in DC, it would be all Yankees fans, just like it's all Mets fans when you go there. Like I said, Nationals fans are the most fair weather fans ever. I'm telling you, I hate them.
Then you got 2 in Philly, the 3 home against the Mets, 2 home against the Phillies all in July, 2 in Atlanta in August, and then the 3 with the Mets in September. Why do I feel like I'm missing a team? Oh, the Marlins. We go to Miami in July.
That'll be all Yankees fans too.
Yep. Just like it's all Yankee fans in Tampa.
Yeah. Just like, anytime a Northeast team plays a team in Florida, it's all fans from that team. Like I said, I went to the Marlins Phillies game in Miami, and it was like all Phillies fans, and the Phillies sucked that year too. So Florida pro sports franchises are just ugh.
Except for the Miami Heat.
Yeah, except for them. There's I'm pissed because I don't have the next gen console yet, and you could like create stadiums on MLB The Show if you have the next gen.
When I get my PS5, I'm doing that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. I was like, I'm gonna build the Rays a fucking sweet stadium because they deserve it compared to that dump.
That shithole down there in Tampa.
Oh my god. Same with Oakland too. Both deserve new stadiums.
Yeah.
All right. You got everything we want here, you think?
Yeah.
It was how long was this one?
Probably pushing 3 hours.
3 hours. I thought so. Yeah, I wasn't sure if you said you had to do something.
Yeah, like an hour
or
so.
Yeah. I gotta go to work tonight at 4:00. It sucks. I'd rather just work all day and get off. But when do you want to do the next one?
Next week.
Later. We could, yeah. I'll shoot for Wednesday or Thursday, I'm thinking.
Okay. But if we need to push it back, obviously we will.
Yeah, we will. But I'm gonna try to start watching them earlier. I said this one I'm intrigued by, also just like Fiji.
I'm not looking forward to this one.
This is probably the one I'm probably looking forward to it less than Fiji, but I think after we get through this one, I genuinely will be at the point where I enjoy watching all the seasons.
I won't be.
Yeah, you won't be, but you have one that you don't like that's left.
Actually, I have 2 more after this one.
Oh, wait, are we still recording?
Yeah,
I don't want to spoil it. Okay. Yeah. I think I just have this one. And after that, I really actually generally enjoy the other seasons. I'm not going to say they're all good seasons, but I generally enjoy all of them. To me, like we've said, watching the bad Survivor seasons is so much more enjoyable than watching the bad Big Brother seasons.
Oh, bad Big Brother is so horrible to rewatch.
Like, would you ever watch Big Brother 22 again?
No,
only
never.
if we ever did like a podcast.
Never. Never.
Even for that, you just do like Cliff Notes or something.
Yeah, I'm never rewatching that season again. It was so bad. That one, 21, I'm never rewatching. 19, I'm never rewatching.
It's crazy how their 4 worst seasons possibly are the 3 of the last 4.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 20 was good. The other 3 in that tie spray were awful.
They're having a season in the summer still, right?
Yeah.
You looking forward to that?
Ask me in June.
Yeah. I mean, you'll watch it, but
I'll watch it, yeah. Unless it gets as bad as 22 did, then I'm done.
I will, yeah, I'm going to say like I stopped watching 22 at one point, and then once I heard the triple eviction, I watched it again.
I stopped watching after Davon got evicted. I stopped watching.
Yeah, I think I stopped even before that. I lost interest when Kaser got evicted. Just because I saw how dumb the season was.
The only ones we're still ready for were Ian and Davon, and then they end up going home like back to back after that. So I'm like, all right, I'm done. And then I watched the triple eviction. And then once the Kevin, David, and Danielle up, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm totally done. I'm done. I don't care.
I really liked Danny and Cody and who else? Tyler, but I didn't like what they did, like how they played in this season, really.
Yeah.
Like same. Danny I really like, but I just on this season not as much. I never even saw Tyler's original season, but I heard he was really likable.
He was really good.
Yeah.
He in my opinion, he should have won that season.
Yeah. It was kind of a bitter jury.
Yeah.
All right. I got to run though, because I
need
to take care of my brother's stupid dog who's been ever. I'm not sure if you heard him barking at all ever in the
I heard him a little bit.
Okay. All right. Good episode though.
All right.
All right. Peace.